All right, we ready?
Ready.
In the zone. Good morning, tier ones, tier twos, tier threes. New people coming in, flocking to this episode because we had on Pat Mcafee, a GOAT, somebody who's on the media Mount Rushmore, especially in the podcasting athlete turned media guy, media mogul. But welcome, good morning. If you're watching in the afternoon or in the evening, good afternoon and good evening to you all. This is Bussin With The Boys. I'm your host, Will Compton. My co-host, Taylor Lewan, he is out in Arizona getting some sun, soaking it up a little bit. I don't even know if it is that hot to be getting a tan out in Arizona, but I know when I'm FaceTiming with him, he has all the sunshine on him right now, which it makes me jealous because, number one, I'm insecure about how pasty I get. The worst part about being white in the winter months is like, you start to get super pasty in your hands, like in your feet, below your ankles. I'm super insecure walking around the house. It's disgusting to me, honestly. Like I wear socks around the house. I don't want my wife to see my shit. I don't want my dog to see my shit. But that's funny, dude. Speaking of, it's crazy. The power move, Tom Brady just retiring on day one of Black History Month. My
Twitter's current.
Dog, I tweeted that. This is what you're watching right now. It is February 1st when I'm shooting this intro. We shot the episode with Pat Mcafee on January 21st? But I'm sitting here like, several minutes removed from making my tweet. Not a lot of people talking about Tom Brady retiring on day one of Black History Month, knowing that it would fucking take a lot of different turns. But I thought that shit was hilarious. I got to remember sometimes that I'm not in a locker room. Like clearly I'm not. Oh, that shit is comedy. But anyways, as we get into the episode, before we get into the episode, because we got to clear a lot of things up, we got to do some house cleaning. Tom Brady retiring, championship weekend, Super Bowl predictions, the boys going to the Pro Bowl, Bengals, Rams, t-shirt update, baby update, and then we will introduce the mogul, the GOAT, Pat Mcafee. But before we get into all that, this episode is brought to you by the Chevy Silverado. The Silverado itself has made incredible news recently. We're not talking about the news with Deion Sanders, Jackson State, all the good things he's doing down south with the boys, with Barstool. We're not talking about the Low Man Award. We're not talking about the partnership that is happening with Bussin With The Boys and Chevy Silverado all 2022. We're talking about product news. The Silverado ZR2, Chevy's new flagship off-road truck, was introduced in September, and in the spring, you'll be able to see it at your local Chevy dealership. We prefer Freeland Chevy. If you're in the greater Nashville area, go to Freeland Chevrolet. But nationally, go to your local dealership. Let them know that the boys sent you. And what's next for 2022? Well, just a couple days ago, the Chevy revealed the first ever all-electric Silverado, built from the ground up on the Ultium battery platform that brings with it new power, flexibility, and of course, a new range of what's possible in a truck. We've seen the Silverado EV, and it's dope on the outside. The inside, it's got all the new features, all the bells and whistles, just a lot of firsts for an EV truck. Head over to Chevy.com to learn more and reserve your Silverado EV today. Now, getting into the episode, the big news today, again, it's February 1st. Tom Brady just officially retired. He joked about it last week. Well, he didn't even joke about it last week. Adam Schefter, all the suits, all the guys trying to get out front of it, be news first, be fast, not be correct sometimes, which happens a lot. But it was speculated that he was retiring last week. Everybody did their tweets. We all assumed that Tom Brady retired. He comes on, I think it was his show, right? The Let's Go radio show or something like that, the Let's Go pod.
Yeah, and he put out a statement saying that, that it wasn't, like nothing was final. And
right, that he's still mulling it over, he's still thinking about it, which I respect. Like this man, it's Tom, number one, it's Tom fucking Brady. He's the greatest player to ever strap it up. Everybody's going to argue best athlete of all time, this, that, and the other. He's the best player in this sport with all the accolades that he has. He's the best accomplished athlete probably of all time. I'm just going to say that out loud. I don't know if that's true. I'm sure people are going to have a lot more championships and that'll start something. Everybody's going to have all these graphics. But Tom Brady, as far as football goes, is the best football player to ever lace them up. And I think the way this man is with his companies, with his stuff off the field, with content, everything else, and what he's done for the game of ball, like this man should be able to break his own news. And I do think it's unfortunate that people in his camp, somebody leaked it. People are trying to be fast on the scene and announce his retirement. And he had a retirement today on Instagram. I think there's more that's going to be coming because this man, Go ahead, Blas.
I mean, he left off 20 years of his career.
Yeah,
and just
this
that
man
one
left out a
statement
lot of New
alone.
England. He didn't mention Kraft. He didn't mention Belichick. He didn't mention nothing with New England. I saw Portnoy's presser, which was funny. Like, he's stirring up all the Patriot fans and everything else. I think there's going to be something bigger announced. There's going to be a video. Like, I think there's going to be some movie. You know what I mean? Like some cinematic.
Climactic.
There we go. Climactic. Some cinematic presentation. Like, I'm trying to use big words. Don't even know what the fuck I'm saying.
He still has a series out too right now, Man in the Arena.
Yeah, Man in the Arena. But
Still hasn't concluded.
right. I think there's going to be a lot more to it. Again, it's Tom Brady. He's put in 22 years, not as a kicker, not as a punter, as a real athlete in the NFL. And I'm not taking away.
Weird
I'm
shot
not,
at Pat.
I know, weird shot. That's a weird shot, especially with the boy Pat being on the episode today. But I'm saying, like, you see everybody who's played as long as they have in this game, and it's usually a punter, kicker, somebody on special teams that's made it that long and that far. But the way Tom has lasted in this league, yes, there's been rule changes and things that's helped him out along the way from being protected. But to play that long and play that high of a level, like he's went out this year, I mean, arguably one of his best seasons, man, statistically. But dude, shout out Tom Brady. We're going to clap. And then also, can we get a moment of silence? Tom Brady, greatest quarterback, greatest football player to ever lace him up. Thank you.
I think he's coming back.
You think he's coming back? You think he's going to pull Brett Favre?
I'll leave it at, I don't know if he's going to pull. Yeah, actually, yeah. Tom Brady's going to come back, but I'll leave it at that.
I think I don't hate where your head's at. I think as much as he's getting involved in the business world and stuff that he does from an entrepreneurial perspective, it's a weird connection. Obviously, the Patriots, Mark Wahlberg's a huge Patriot fan, and not saying that they're working together. But the way that Mark Wahlberg is as an entrepreneur outside of being a movie star, I think Tom Brady is operating kind of in a similar fashion. I think he wants to get more hands involved, get more involved himself personally in all of the businesses and all the things that he has going on. And then I could see, as he does this throughout the offseason, not be anywhere for OTAs, not be in the summer, just be all in on the shit he's doing and make sure it's standing properly. I could see him coming back and obviously continuing to take over the world with everything he does.
The only thing is, in the Man in the Arena show, he says, he's like, I just can't imagine sitting on the couch and watching people on Sundays that I know that I can play better than, and me being at home and not on the field.
That's a good pull. I haven't watched that. That's a good pull, JP.
So watch out.
Hey, I'm into that. So that's where you're getting that's why you think he's coming back.
Yeah, and maybe he wants another Pro Bowl.
Speaking of Pro Bowls, it is officially announced that Roger Saffold, Harold Landry, and Jeff Simmons have all been added to the Pro Bowl with Kevin Byard. That's huge news for the boys. I think they're all deserving. But specifically speaking on Harold and Jeff, I think those guys should have been in the Pro, especially Jeff. Jeff Simmons was a fucking snub from the get-go. The fact that he wasn't a Pro Bowler off the jump. But Harold, he had a very good season. I hope any, J-Rob, if you're listening, if any of the people in the higher ups are listening with the Titans, we got to pay the boy Harold Landry. We got to get that man his bag. But Harold and Jeff, man, I was stoked that they got in. Obviously, Roger, he's played for a long time. This is his first Pro Bowl. So stoked that they're all in Vegas with Kevin Byard, who I forget how many Pro Bowls he has now. Is it two or three?
Three, right?
I think 3.
3 and 1, 2 all pros. Right?
Yeah, he's been playing well, man. Yeah, all pro as well. But that was phenomenal. Championship weekend, dude. Listen, the Bengals made it. We got to give them their flowers. We got to give them their respect. I'm surprised that they fucking made it too, like everybody else. But shout out to the Bengals. Yo, I'm a huge Joe Burrow fan. That dude has got to be the swaggiest player in the game right now. Him after the game, like he's just got that vibe about him. You see everybody kind of talking about it. He's got the cool, he's got the shades on. He's got the real chain that he was talking about. He's just got all this stuff that you're just like, you kind of just want to pull for that motherfucker. But in the locker room after the game, when he's doing, what is it? Get the gat. Look at me trying to fucking dance on film. When he does the get the gat and then he does the little head swirl with that smile and the cigar in his mouth, I was like, yo, that is the fucking man right there. But unfortunately, I'll be pulling for the Rams because I'm rooting for Matt Stafford. I'm rooting for McVay, Stafford, the boys that were on the Washington staff. When I played for Washington, that's on, seems like mostly the offensive side of the ball with McVay out in Los Angeles. And also, I think it's dope that Odell gets cut. He's playing well now with the Rams. He's catching his groove. Von Miller got traded. My man was in tears getting traded away from Denver. Goes to a team and goes to a Super Bowl. McVay proving himself right on going being all in and going for a Super Bowl this year. He's traded away a lot of first rounders. Jalen Ramsey, of course, my favorite player in the league. He's on the team. And then Matt Stafford, dude. Like, I'm just rooting for Matt Stafford because he played so long in Detroit. He got traded to the Rams. It was a huge headliner. Detroit did him right by trading him to the Rams, one of the teams that he wanted to go to, with a quarterback, guru coach like McVay and just the offensive mind that he has. And, there were a lot of headlines like, Stafford, he's an elite level talent, but when it counts, does he win those big games? Like, there's times where he's crumbled in the big moments, but he has all these elite level stats during the regular season. Like, is he a Super Bowl quarterback? A lot of people arguing yes, a lot of people arguing no. And just the fact that he got traded and in that same year, he is now in the Super Bowl. Like, I'm just pulling for him to win, man. The stuff that him and his wife have went through, like, I'm just really pulling for that dude to win. In the future, Joe Burrow, like, I'm a fan of that dude, all the swag and everything else. We'll be able to root for him for a long time. But I'm pulling for the Rams. I would love to claim the Rams growing up, St. Louis Rams, but everybody knows that I was a Cowboys fan growing up. But when the Rams were in it, I would bandwagon like everybody else in the state of Missouri. But that's another reason I want the Rams to win. But that is the Super Bowl. That is my Super Bowl prediction. I'm saying the Rams. I'm rooting for the Rams. What are you guys saying? JP, you're up first. Bengals or Rams?
I'm rocking the unpopular opinion. I'm going with the Bengals. Just because we saw that one dude on Twitter, the former Marine, was it?
Yeah.
He put together that super nice note about the boys, what it means to be a boy. He wanted the Bengals t-shirt. He was like, man, this means the world.
That was really fucking cool.
So that was dope to see. And then I'm pulling for Joe Burrow and Eli Apple. So I want the
Joe Burrow and Eli Apple. I don't think it's that unpopular. I think a lot of people want Joe and the Bengals to win. Like, you got Zach Taylor. It's their second year. Last year, 2 years ago, they won like 2 games. Last year, I think it was 4. And to go to the Super Bowl and prove, they've kind of been like, even though they were ranked, they were seeded 4, I believe. Yep. Mm-hmm. But everyone's thinking Titans. Well, not everybody was talking Titans a lot, but it was either Chiefs or Bills, right? But the Titans were always in the hunt. I mean, they're the 1 seed. They were fucking awesome. And then you had the Bengals, who were kind of like the dark horse. Similar to the Niners trying to make that push to the Super Bowl, it sucked that they lost and the boy Kittle lost. Hated seeing Debo in tears after the game on the bench, but I don't think it's that unpopular to root for the Bengals. I think that's somebody that's like the underdog, right? They're kind of the underdog Cinderella story, been winning game, do whatever it takes, and they end up winning the game at the end of the day.
Unpopular on the bus.
True. Very unpopular on the bus. We talked about making the t-shirts last week. People were mad. We had the Marine that, had that nice message, which I'm sure we're showing it on the YouTube right now. But yeah, we had a lot of backlash. And speaking of the shirts now, we're making both shirts for the Rams and the Bengals, and they are fire. You guys saw the Rams one that
I'm picking the Rams, by the way.
What'd you say?
I said I'm taking the Rams, by the way.
My fault, Bloss. My fault. That's when I need you to cut in. Like, hey, I forgot to mention the boy Bloss. But the shirts, have you guys seen? You guys saw the text I sent this morning of the Ram shirts. Those things are fire, right?
Fire.
Yeah, the Ram shirts are fire. I had to admit, they're fire.
Yeah, the Bengals one's still being worked on. We still need a couple. You'll see them today. It's Wednesday right now, so they will be finalized today. But we're going to be boosting those on the internet for everybody to go buy and purchase. If you're for the Bengals boys, you can buy them. If you're for the Rams boys, you can buy them. They're fire shirts. I know. Trust me, I know it's fucking hard. Titans fans, I know. Trust me. I say trust me, like, oh, you guys can fucking trust me. I'm like a snake too at the same time. But I understand the pain, man. Garrett, Jack, they're not even here for the intro. They didn't even want to look at me in the face. They're sick that we're doing these shirts. But we said last week that we would make shirts for the Super Bowl teams. Like, it's nothing against the team that beat the Titans and everything else. Like, it's just business. And I think they're fire shirts. And we have fans that are in LA. We have fans that are in Ohio. They've made it very clear. I had it was a Marcus Bailey, the linebacker 51. Mm-hmm. Marcus Bailey, shout out to boy Marcus Bailey now. He was in my DM saying, bro, you have fans on this team of Bussin With The Boys. Like, you got to make the shirts. Like, people in Ohio, they're all about the boys, blah, blah, blah. But we are making the shirts, so go check those out. What else do we have? Super Bowl ticket giveaway. Taylor, at this point, you will have seen, he posted a video. We are doing a Super Bowl ticket giveaway for the big game. We are taking care of expenses for hotel and airfare, if you need airfare, if you're in LA and you win, blah, blah, blah. But we are giving away 2 Super Bowl tickets. We are giving away airfare, or travel expenses. And also included in that package is your hotel stay. Well, you'll be staying 2 nights out in LA, close to the stadium. But we are going to be taking care of you guys. The way to win is we will post it. I don't want to say stuff right now and butcher it. But I believe we are coming up with a hashtag. You're taking a screenshot of being subscribed to the YouTube channel, and you got to take a screenshot of leaving a comment in this episode, right? Like we're going to say the Pat McAfee episode, leave a comment, take a screenshot that you're subscribed, take a screenshot that you've left a comment. It's not that hard. You're going to use a hashtag, I believe, on Twitter to show that you did these things, and that will be your proof. And making the proof is free. There's no downloading an app. There's no buying merch. There's no buying this. There's no buying that. This is a free get in. So if you're subscribed already, just take a screenshot of you being subscribed, leaving a screenshot of you making a comment in this video, in this episode, and you will be entered in to win this randomized giveaway. We're going to do the randomized wheel that we did for the giveaways for Black Friday. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. I think it's already out there. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but as you're watching, you can trust the boy. Baby update, and then we will get into the McAfee stuff. I know a lot of people have been asking the baby update. The boy, we just had a baby appointment yesterday. We are at 32 weeks, I believe. She's getting
It's moving.
the certain cramps. I forget what they're called, like the bridge cramps or something like that. Starts with a B.
I don't know why.
Berkshire cramps? Because you're supposed to be typing in. Fucking, you're back there for Alex right now. You're supposed to be typing on the computer. Not making me look stupid up here. Talking about, look at this man saying
You must not have been listening at the doctor.
I was listening. I know it starts with a B. But it's crazy, man. Her belly was up, and I can actually see the kid, man. I can see the little girl move around in the stomach. Not just feeling the kicks and stuff, but you can see her move around. And I'm stoked, man. I can't believe that I'm about to be a father. She's due at the end of March. March 27th is the due date. But mom's good. The baby is perfectly healthy right now. Everything is smooth sailing. Knock on wood. But it's awesome, man. We're in a cool spot. We're in the 3rd trimester. We're getting to the end, and the boy's about to be a father. I think it's going to be a rude awakening. No more dicking around. No more laying in bed for, minutes at a time, tens of minutes at a time in bed, fucking around on my phone when I get up. I think I'm gonna have to wake up early. I'm gonna have to get on my David Goggins shit, dude. My Jocko Willink shit. Get up early and shit like that. But yeah, playtime's over. But I'm excited, man. You guys are gonna help, right?
Yeah, for sure. Hey, you'll be able to celebrate Father's Day this year.
That's right, man.
Oh.
Hey, I'm so stoked. I'm stoked, man. I don't think
Father's Day or
no clue what I'm getting into, but about being a dad.
Oh, yeah.
Just being a dad. He said about Father's Day. All right, we are going to get into Pat McAfee, dude. We finally had this man on. This was an incredible conversation. I think Pat was somebody who has obviously been on our bucket list because of all the influence he's had on me on social media personally. I'm always watching what he's doing. And, because the blueprints of success are always out there. And you always find people that you kind of latch onto and watch from afar that kind of influence how you move a little bit. Pat is very much somebody in my life that is like that from afar. And meeting him in person for the first time and getting to host him on the bus. And I think it was really cool too for Pat to sit down because he's always hosting the masses, dude. He's always hosting, up to 75,000 people watching at a time on Pat McAfee show. And shout out to the boys out doing the Pat McAfee show because obviously he wouldn't be who he is without his team and what all the boys do out there. Specifically, hey, special shout out for Tone Diggs, dude. Special shout out for Tone Diggs. I know you're a fan of whether it's Playoff Willie, the boy, what we got going with Bussin With The Boys, but it fired me up. It got the blood flowing. I went from 6 to midnight when Pat told me that you were a huge fan. But shout out to all the boys out there. I think what you guys do is incredible. But Pat is always entertaining the masses, a shitload of people. He's always talking about all the other headlines going on, trying to have all the, not hot takes necessarily, but he's peeling back layers, allowing people a platform to speak and kind of talk about what their truth is. And he does all this incredible stuff for everybody else. I think it's really cool that he got to sit on the bus and we got to listen to him talk about his story, his journey, tell stories. Dude is hilarious, man. Evan Foxy came, beautiful young man, by the way. Evan Foxy, that jawline and the hair, the beard,
the barber.
The barber. They got a barber in house. Hey, that's fucking crazy. That's wild. That's when you know you've made it. But he's got blue contacts. I saw he's got a little bit of fakeage to him, kind of like my teeth. I feel like I noticed his blue contacts.
You didn't have to put that in there.
Just throw a subtle shot at Evan Foxy. He's too perfect, man. He's got to have some kind of.
Will was a little insecure when he came.
As I have my fake teeth sitting up here.
For flaws on that.
You're scared of my feet and everything else being too white. Oh man, I love it. But I think it was really cool that he got to sit up here and tell us a lot of stories, man. And I think it was a really good episode that you guys will enjoy. We got it right from his Wikipedia page because this man does way too many things to try and just rattle off the top. But he's an American businessman. I think he might have put that in his wiki page. Sports analyst, podcaster, professional wrestler, does color commentating for the WWE currently, but he's been on ESPN, Fox. He's been on all this stuff, dude. College Game Day, all of it, man. He's done color commentary for football, for college games, for the MAC on Thursdays, or those schools, we'll just say those schools on Thursdays, they play on Thursdays, but he's done it all. He had a comedy tour while he was playing. He started his show, I believe, while he was playing. I think he alludes to that. I don't know for sure if he had a show while he was playing, but he was a comedian, had a comedy tour going on, very successful. The dude has been successful at everything he's touched. And we dive into a lot of it. We talk about where the seed started, retirement, when it all started to come together while he was retiring, joining Barstool, breaking up with Barstool, his wife, the phenomenal job she does with Fur, the brand, the dog. Shout out to good boys and girls out there. But we dive into a lot of it. You guys are going to enjoy this episode. I believe we're going to run an ad before this episode starts. But without further ado, here is Pat McAfee. Oh, hang on, before the ad. Subscribe to the boys. Hey, leave a comment. And if you're joining us from Pat's side and you dig what you see, help the boys out, man. Give us a little boost. But we appreciate you all. Thank you very much. And again, here's Pat McAfee. Boys, ad time. Shout out the boys at Whistle Pig. No free shout outs, of course. But the boys at the whiskey distillers at Whistle Pig Whiskey have cut loose with the boys. We have these ready to drink cocktails. They're in a can. I'll go ahead and open this up for you guys. But it's the Piggyback barrel-aged craft cocktail in a can is so much better than a seltzer. It's crisp, refreshing. I don't think there's anything like this out there on the fucking planet. Oh, am I allowed to curse on these? I think I can curse on these. All right, cool. Refreshing, bold, balanced. The flavor in these things are phenomenal. At 8% alcohol, it's made with 100% estate-grown rye from the Whistle Pig Whiskey Farm out in Vermont. Who knew you could innovate with rye in so many different ways? The fruit in it is barrel aged in whiskey barrels, giving it those whiskey notes. The boy, as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of whiskey, but this is going to start being my go-to for anything. Tailgates, bonfires, it's the best vibe in the world. My personal favorite flavor, this one is blackberry lemon fizz. My personal favorite is the fresh ginger lime. There's also Session Citrus Mint. Visit piggybackcraftcocktail.com for more info and make sure you grab a box of these in select areas. They are also, I know they're in Tennessee. I think they're all over in Tennessee. So if you're in the great state of Tennessee right now, go to your local store. What do they call those stores? Go to your local liquor store, retailer. Wine and spirits, retailer, whatever you want to call it, man. Go there now, get you some Piggyback, take photos, tag us on social media, and let's have some fun. Maybe we'll chug together. We can have a drink together on weekends. We'll piggyback. That's what we can do. We'll start taking a drink and we'll piggyback with each other on social media. But tag us, go by, have a lot of fun. But these things are fucking awesome, man. Shout out the boys at Whistle Pig. The dream is finally fucking here, bro.
For me.
Pat McAfee is on Bussin With The Boys. I am bummed. I know my Taylor, he called. He's like, bro, I'm so hyped for you, and I'm so fucking jealous that I don't get to be there because obviously the divisional round. This is Friday, January 21st.
Taylor's got a big game to win tomorrow.
Taylor's got a big game to win. And the boy, he's got a big matchup, too, against Hendrickson. So
hey, Hendrickson's got a motor.
Strong, too, but hey, the boy's got a motor.
Hey, that's what I've seen.
Finesse.
He's an athlete.
Yeah, he's an athlete.
Little
he
legs,
can move a little bit. He
freak,
can
though.
bend.
Yeah.
But
good wobble. He's rich.
Dude.
For a reason. He's fucking good. Taylor. I'm bummed Taylor isn't here, but I'm excited to see you. First thing I said to you,
it's great to see you.
Then those are the whitest teeth I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
They really are. In real life, they are whiter. You look better than I could have ever expected. It's an honor to be here, dude.
I'm gonna blow smoke for a little bit.
Don't.
I have to. You're kind of like a bucket list guest, and I'll tell you why. When we started this thing, we're sitting on this bus, like Bussin With The Boys isn't in our minds. Podcasting isn't in my mind unless I'm listening to your shit. You're an athlete that turned podcaster, and obviously we'll get into all the media stuff. But we are sitting on this bus you have a small part in that influence of all of this happening because of all the shit that you've done outside of it. And it's cool as fuck that you're sitting here. Like, you know,
thank you,
Joe
man.
Rogan's another big one. Like all the people you would listen to that influence, we were talking about it and you're like, bro, people were doing it before me and blah, blah. Like there's all the blueprints of success out there. But your blueprint has been one that has influenced this bus heavily. And I could not be more stoked that the boys on the fucking bus.
It's an honor, dude. It's an honor. And I remember whenever you guys were kind of starting, and I immediately became a fan. Like immediately became a fan of you guys because I don't want to say there is numerous Will Comptons because there isn't, but I've met your type before. You know, the high motor,
shredding. I'm not sure where it's
energy,
going. Yeah.
But you are hysterical. You're very incredible. You have a great energy and aura about you. And Taylor Lewan has the same type of thing. Your guys' energies together is a beautiful thing. So I've been a big time fan. So I'm lucky to be a tiny part in your eyes of this entire thing. It's an honor to be here. I wish it was like 7,000 degrees like it was in the OG, right? I mean, it wasn't the original.
You don't wish it was.
Yeah, I do, man. That's the type of
back
stuff.
when you had to worry about the generator shutting off and the lights go off, and it's like, all right, hang on, this happens at times. We got to go. A train will come by and be like, all right, everybody wait for a second.
Hey, but that's that type of grit that you guys have.
That is, bro.
You know, that
I'm glad people remember. You know, you do got to remind people that we came from the gravel, like from the gravel parking lot.
My show was in the basement for a while. I mean, we were in the basement. We had actual ghosts, I think, floating around. I mean, there was shit popping off. So this place is really cool. I got a chance to see it, by the way. You guys are crushing it. I'm incredibly pumped to be here.
We're growing a little bit, but yeah, I was telling Bloss right before you guys pulled in, I was like, boys, you got to remember, we were going to do a certain amount of episodes in the summertime because we finally got in touch. We finally scheduled a call and we were FaceTiming and everything. And I was picking your brain. And you were saying, bro, if you're going to do it, you need to do it consistently. The biggest thing in this game is consistency and showing up because you're going to have an audience that loves you guys and you want to show up for them each and every week. And so if you're going to do it, don't just do it for the summertime. Try to backlog for the season. And that next few weeks, dude, talk to Taylor about it. We're banging out like 12 pods in 1 week, trying to get this thing in so that way we can last throughout the year, all because of your advice on saying, hey, don't just do the summer. If you're going to do it and do it consistently.
Oh, that's dope. Well, that's a real thing. And I think, you know, you guys executing and being able to do that many shows is also a talent because a lot of people get, you know, burned out or sick of whatever they're talking about. But I think in the digital media space, and obviously, like you mentioned, there is many people before me, before us, before this whole thing. Dave, I mean, Big Cat, and Erica obviously joining once the churning money comes in. And then you look at Rogan and Simmons, and there's people that have been able to make money in the past, but consistency is a big deal. Like being able to show up and just keep showing up, I think is the most important part because in this particular world, people view you as a friend.
Right.
You know? So if you show up for your friends, like normally they're going to be better for you. And that's like something I've always kind of taken it. I don't think like our crew is that talented, but we'll fucking work, you know?
Oh, no, don't sleep on the boys back. Look at them back there.
Incredibly talented. I mean, you guys got these awesome cameras. We got an iPhone rolling in this thing. That's what Foxy uses. And shout out to Tim Cook, you know what I mean? And Steve doing their thing. But I just think like, just showing up is a big part of this entire thing. And I'm thankful you guys did.
Who was your, so I'm sitting there talking about how you influenced our show. Who were people that kind of influenced you to started picking up that curiosity and being like, yo, I want to go this route of, I don't even know if you thought about media at the time or just like humor and just being you in front of everybody.
So I think like in locker rooms, I was always pretty good, you know, and I think, I played soccer most of my life. Then I got into football like my junior year of high school, but I always got along with basically everybody. Like I was always pretty okay. And in Pittsburgh, we always played football. So I played football growing up. I knew football, but I didn't play organized football. I played soccer. I was supposed to make it. Then once I got in the football community, it was interesting. Like I got a chance to experience a whole different group of humans. When I went to West Virginia, I mean, we had some dogs on our team. I mean, we have guys still in jail. We had guys that were going to jail, and they were all like my friends and like family. And I remember late nights, like in living rooms after the party, like it normally ended with me telling stories with like a lot of my guys, like my teammates, and we either smoking something or just trying to pass out. And that kind of rolled into like the locker room where I was always very comfortable speaking with people. And I always had a pretty good memory about things that happened. And my recollection of stories of things and the way I would tell them was always a big hit, no matter if somebody was from Compton or if they're from Bel Air. Like there seemed like there was always a group of people that I could talk to. So I never really thought I was going to get into the media world, but I always thought like, okay, I do seem to get along with most people. So that's a cool thing. And then when I got arrested, when I got arrested, I got buried. I mean, they aired my mugshot on local television in Indianapolis like 150 times. It was the bye week. So I went from nobody knowing who the fuck I was to getting arrested and everybody in Indianapolis knowing who I was. I went to Walmart that night with my dad because my dad drove out. He hung up on me while I was in jail. You get your one phone call. I called my dad. He hung up on me because he didn't want to pay for more minutes is what he said. He drove out. And I was suspended for a week. We go to like Walmart or somewhere to like pick up some stuff. And it was like one of the first times I was recognized in Indianapolis. It was like, you're the swim. Like that's what I was kind of known. So I had to get on Twitter basically to like kind of change the narrative. And Twitter was like, it was like a fish to water. Like Twitter is where I'm supposed to be. So I would interact with everybody. I would start doing my thing and it just kind of grew and grew and grew. And then I got an opportunity to get on some microphones with like the Bob and Tom show. And then, I found Big Cat. I was a big fan of Big Cat. I did a stand-up comedy special. I sent him an actual DVD. I was like, hey, Big Cat, let me know if you like this or not. And he was like, yeah, nobody's ever sent me a DVD in like 20 years, but like, this is the whole thing. So it just kind of it just seems like it all just kind of fell into place, but it was never like the plan, if that makes sense.
When did when was the seed planted because obviously you had, and we can dive into the stories too of whether the falling out with the GM. I was kind of reading up on some stuff that you had like.
Yeah, that dude did not like me. He
right.
did not find me comical.
Also, you took to Twitter as well on the GM, right?
That was after he fired. So I didn't, I think it's bad ball if you bring negative attention to the team, like while the team is in season. Like I never did media. When I was in the season and I would tweet or do anything, it was never like that would make the team look bad or like that was just never my thing. Like, first of all, I'm the fucking punter. So why am I should not say anything about anything that could get anybody into trouble. But whenever he came to Indianapolis, I was already a pretty well-known, I think I was like number 2 jersey seller at the time whenever he came in. I'd already done a comedy tour. People had already...
And that's from comedy and
Twitter.
Being your
it's all
personality
from my
on Twitter?
Yeah, it's all from my Twitter account, yeah. And then Bob and Tom helped me out a lot because they're a big-time local show. And then they were a national show as well, but locally they knew me from there. So whenever he got to the team, I was a pretty well-known person. And I don't necessarily think he dreamt in his life when he becomes a general manager, like, oh, the punter is going to be somebody that is going to have a voice and be like somebody that the city likes. So he didn't find me funny. We had interesting run-ins, he and I, but I feel like we always kept it very professional. But that with like, I had 3 surgeries in 4 years on my knees. My last year I played with a dislocated kneecap for like the last 8 weeks.
What kind of surgeries are you getting?
So yeah, I had, dislocated patella. They had to move my patella back into place and then build it back up. And obviously like meniscus and then some tears and some shit. And yeah, it's just all the little minuscule shit.
Yeah.
But it was just a lot of things that were just kind of pointing me in a direction. I think like, oh, it's time to retire. Like this guy don't like me. He got fired. I put out a tweet about it. That did well. Then, like I was on the team longer than him, but I had already made up the decision that I was going to retire. Chris Ballard, I don't think he wanted me to retire. And I was like, Chris, I'm already checked out of this thing, man. You do not want me on the team right now. I'm going to go full gore here. So yeah, just everything. I'm a big, like, listen to the universe guy. And it felt like the universe was telling me it's time to go.
I feel like it's probably a lot more detailed than that back in the day. If you have a better relationship with the GM, do you feel like, were you in the mental headspace of like you wanting to play ball so badly that you would have probably continued to play football and went through the knee surgeries? Or was it more of the injury route? You had curiosity of stuff off the field? Just because I'm asking from a place of knowing what my type of story is as well.
So like, I feel like and you had meetings and shit you had to go to, right?
Right. What do you mean meetings?
Like during the day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, dude, I'm like,
you guys get to fucking Tress Ways building board games and shit.
Well, I didn't do any of that. Like I didn't play
Ping pong.
See, now I played a lot of cornhole, so I saw your little boards back there. I got pretty fucking good. Like I became a guy.
Yeah.
Like pretty good because me and Overton would play. Me and Matt Overton would play for like 3 hours because we had nothing else to do. And I would literally get to the point at this point where I was already doing stand-up comedy tours. I had a merch company. I was doing podcasts. And then I was just for 6 months out of the year, I'd kick on Sunday. I'd love that. I love being a part of a team. I was very lucky to be part of the NFL. I love the NFL. But I'd just be sitting there with like thoughts and ideas all day, just sitting there like, oh, God. So it was just like so many things, like saying it's more detailed than that, I guess. But I'm like everything just seemed to line up. It was like, yeah, it's time to move on. Now, if I would have failed, we're talking about a much different story of me retiring after making a Pro Bowl and being.
Oh, buddy, you had what, 2 years left on your deal?
Yeah.
And you could have, you would have re-upped, obviously. I mean, you're what, 34?
Yeah. I retired when I was 29.
Yeah.
Could have went a little longer. Vinatieri was kicking when he was 44 or something like that. He was my teammate.
Yeah, you
Another
could
15
probably
years.
still be kicking now.
I asked him so many times, I'm like, how are you still? You know, like that competitive stamina, I have a lot of respect for.
Yeah.
Because punting is, okay, so I'm going to go on the field when the offense fails. All right, so at home games, I'm getting booed when I come on the field.
Yeah.
And then at away games, I'm getting cheered for. And if we're down 21, there ain't a goddamn thing I can do about it. I'm just sitting there watching like, hey, let's go, boys. Like, let's get
Yeah.
back in this, because if we lose this game, the next 4 days are going to be miserable. Like, everybody's miserable when you lose.
Oh, bro,
And
yeah.
it got to, there was just so many things, you know? So I don't want to point to one thing. Like, the GM not liking me is definitely a part of the entire cake of like, get me out of here. The days being Groundhog's Day with not a lot to do, and me having like 7,000 ideas, like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I think I should do this, we think we should do this. Oh, but I'm here and I'm punting for period 15 minutes, and then I got to wait and do this whole thing. It was just, it felt like the universe was telling me like, hey, let's go and do this thing.
I really jive with when you're talking about being in the building and your mind just constantly, like last year, you know, I'm not on the Titans now, but when I was on the Titans, I'm sitting there in meetings and I'm like checking my phone on the side, making sure blogs are going out or under the hoods. And in my head, like I have my notes that I'm taking for like all the linebacker stuff, all defensive stuff, all that kind of stuff. But when I'm getting bored, I flip to the back of my notebook and I'm doing all my journaling for like Bussin With The Boys. Should we do this? Should we
And
do
the
that?
NFL doesn't deserve that either, right?
Correct.
Yeah, like I had that going on too. Like, somebody deserves this job. That this is a dream job for somebody.
Right.
Like, there's only 32 punters in the league. I do not want this to be my full focus. And then we think the NFL deserves like your full focus. You know, like I'll
Right.
take a paycheck, but also my teammates deserve me to be fully invested. You know,
And
and that's probably you too.
I also think a young version of yourself wants that too, because me, when I'm doing it, if I get kind of let down about doing it, I'm thinking about how much I wanted to play ball when I was the undrafted cat, the guy who, you know, was ready to die on the football field.
Yeah.
Around all the boys. Like if I could have died that death, that's the most honorable death you could have had, right? Back when you're brainwashed into thinking, I want to,
that funeral would have been dope though.
Yeah, die young, die hero, bro.
Hey, listen, this dude died a fucking hero.
Yes.
Did you see him bust the wedge? This motherfucker.
Tore it all in caffeine, just running through you. It's all you wanted to do. So when I'm like doing that stuff, I'm like, man, I'm not pouring into this the same way I used to. And I feel like that's bothered me, you know, in times where I do that.
It's a little conflicting because I watch like Adam Vinatieri and he has, I don't know, it takes him like 3.5 hours just to kick on like a Wednesday, you know, his warm-up routine to get his whole body right. And he's like fully committed. He has body gurus coming in at night that are just beating the shit out of his body for like 3 hours. I'm going home, smoking so much, just chilling, having the time of my life. And
Getting in the pantry at nighttime. I wonder what Adam's
like, yeah,
doing.
what's going on here, you know? And then I go in and it's just like, all right, it's obvious that I love the game. I love my teammates, but I don't know if this is necessarily the right thing for me anymore. You know?
Bro.
But it's hard to cut free from that guaranteed paycheck there is pretty sweet.
Paychecks are nice.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, it's what you've done since you said junior in high school. I mean, and it's what we've all done our whole lives, right? Like you prepare. For me, I got into the league at 23, but you prepare 23 years. Obviously, I started in like second grade, but 23 years of just being like, I want to be an NFL
helmet, full contact football when you're
flag. We started helmet in fourth grade.
Okay.
And I was a savage.
Yeah,
but we won't get into that. We only got
Rydell.
yeah.
Right here, right?
But
You were fucking head hunting.
bro.
Yeah.
And I was a running back.
So AJ has this line. He's like, you know, it feels like I was put in a position where it's kill or be killed. So fucking everybody's got to die, I guess. That's basically what AJ says, and that's how you guys actually think. Like that is actually how. That's awesome.
But you spend 23 years thinking I want to be an NFL player and like this dream of being an NFL player, and then you finally have it, and you're in it for so long. And like you said, like I'm looking at dudes who spend so much time on their body and stuff that I knew, like, man, I was obsessed with doing this stuff, and I'm looking at them now thinking like, man, there's just got to be more to it than this.
Life.
Especially when you're older. Like when you're watching a Vinatieri or older vets and you're just like, man, they're still so super into it. Like how's that mental going to look when they're transitioning out of it and everything else? And I feel like I look at, you know, and I'm not like talking down about it or anything, but the mental that I've been in, you just see how much more guys care about it. And I'm like, damn, I appreciate it. And I want to appreciate all these last moments I get.
Yeah.
But, you know,
And
I'm not the same kind of.
Yeah. And I think it's natural for that to happen, I think, you know, for some people. But some of those OG motherfuckers, they're just like, hey, we're going to run till the wheels fall off. Like, actually. And I'm like, well, what happens?
Scrape me off the fucking field.
What happens when the wheels fall off? I'll figure it out when I get there. It's like, I think that's going to be a big figure it out whenever you get there. But yeah,
I think you know that now just because of the shit that you've been doing since playing ball. Like,
so much more busy now.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And being an entrepreneur like yourself, just the operation that actually goes into it, I think has been eye-opening for me, even with just having one podcast show a week like Bussin With The Boys and like having a team of 5
Yeah, you got a good team here. Good mustache on Cuz there.
Yeah.
Got a good squad back there. I believe old Cuzzy back there has got his own little business, right? Yeah. I
Alex
seen
Legos,
you
man,
on the
yeah.
internet. Yeah. We were checking you guys out.
Oh, hey, he's fired up about it. Let's give a round of applause for Alex Legos, man.
Hi, boy, Alex.
You know Derek Murphy, too, who does graphics and shoots them at you guys a lot, too.
I don't know him, but yes, I have seen him on the internet. He's a talented dude, right?
Amazing.
Dude, he loves making that stuff for the boys, man.
He's good.
He was fired up when I shared that one.
He's really talented. Yeah, and I shared it too. I knew it was his work.
Yeah.
It was good work by him. I was going to wait for you, though,
Wait for me on what?
to share it.
Oh, to share it. Yeah. And then I was like,
He's not one of my guys. I was waiting for you to share it, and I was like, all right, I'll share. And I think I told you, like, hey, I'll post this immediately after the show's done or whatever.
I invited him to be a collaborator and didn't tell him or nothing. I'm like, I'm just going to invite him. Just fuck it. Like, see if he sees
in the
it.
middle of the show, too, this motherfucker, like, hey, I'm in the middle of something, dude. I understand you got your own life.
He's like, hey, I got you right after this show's over.
I got it, yeah, but it was
fucking go.
You got a good squad down here, and I think that's a big deal too. I got very lucky, and like it's an honor for you to say like, hey, you're a piece of our whole thought there, because I'm doing a lot of these interviews with these motherfuckers that have no idea what we do, right? These old school media folks.
Yeah.
And especially after the FanDuel deal was announced, there's a lot of people that are interested, right? Like
$120 million man. Hey, let's give a fucking round of applause for the boys, baby.
That's only one company and one partner, but
Let's fucking go.
no, it's stupid. It's too much money. It's way too much money. But trying to chit chat with people that are from the old school media world, you know, who just are like, oh yeah, we'll just go to the internet. Like we'll just go to the internet and we'll start doing it. It's like, okay, yeah, you'll just go to the internet. I've seen, you know, I get along with most people, like almost everybody, and I want to see everybody make $1 billion. Like I would like to see this place turn into a fucking $1 billion operation. Like
I can hope so.
I want to see Barstool go and take over and get like rights to games and like really go. Like I want to see everybody succeed who works hard. Like I enjoy seeing people work hard. Like I enjoy, and that's what the internet is. It's like, hey, you got to fucking work. And I think like I was
at all times too.
You're always, the internet doesn't fucking stop, right? And if, for me, I go live every day. You do your thing a little bit differently, and everybody has their own style. I have to know basically what pisses everybody off at all times, right?
Right.
Because I have to know what pisses off the far left. I have to know what pisses off the far right. I have to know what fan bases are going to get mad about what. I want to know who's feels disrespected. Like the Titans fan base is the most we are disrespected in the league fan base on earth. So anytime I talk about the Titans, I have to remind people like, hey, this team feels as if they're getting fucked in the conversation piece about everything. Like that's just like kind of my style. So I live on my phone. I'm on my phone full time trying to learn and just trying to figure things out. But if you don't have a team of people around you that can like help you get there, these old school media people are like, you're the new blueprint and we're going to see a lot more people do what you do. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I think so. They're going to have to hit a home run with the people that they have working around them. Like Foxy's one of the best editors I've ever seen in my entire life. And he can do something in 10 minutes where it's like editing in the past takes like a big long time. And it's like, sometimes you have to give up what your dream of what something looks like just to get something out in time. And it's just like, it's a different game. And I think you got to get real lucky with the people around you too.
100%. How do you guys all find each other, come about? Aren't they like longtime friends?
Some of them, yeah. So like Diggs grew up on the same street as me. He loves the boy.
Hey, yeah, shout out all the boys too, by the way.
Yeah. It was
Ty, Boston, Tone, Lord Ziti,
Diggs,
AJ. Hey, can we get an AJ chant going?
AJ Hawk.
AJ
Hawk. You gotta add Hawk in there.
Oh, is it Hawk?
Yeah, you gotta add Hawk in there because there's a lot of AJs. There's only one motherfucking AJ Hawk.
AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk.
He's good. You guys, hey, that boy, get a last one in there.
No, don't edit that.
Hey, that's good in an arena too, you know, to be the last one who's screaming. I do these SmackDown shows every Friday night, and there's always like 2 to 3 that are like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna get that little bonus yell in at the end. AJ's awesome. Yeah, AJ and we never played on the same team together. I was supposed to go on the Hawkcast while I was playing. He had followed me on Twitter. So I think him and Aaron found me on Twitter at one point because I was pretty active on Twitter. Nobody really knew about me. I didn't do any media. ESPN, NFL Net, nobody was really like, I remember back in the day seeing like Biz, who I love. I followed Biz for a long time.
Stud, bro.
I fucking love his mustache right now. Working with Wayno. I mean, he's
the fucking man,
I fucking
bro.
love Biz. But Biz was in the run there back in the day as like the professional athlete Twitter account, right?
Right.
And then Ocho was doing his thing in Cincinnati where he was doing his whole thing. And I thought I had a pretty good Twitter account. Like I thought my tweets were pretty solid, like, hey, but wasn't getting a lot of, you know, I wasn't getting a lot of pub. It was kind of just like an organic grow, which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And then once guys around the NFL started following me, I was like, okay, so people are starting to get it. And like Aaron followed me one day out of nowhere. And I'm like, Aaron fucking Rodgers follows me. Like I walked into the locker room. I'm like, boys,
Bring it in.
boys, am I the guy? I mean, he doesn't, it's not like he follows 100,000 people either. So like, I remember back in the day where I'd get like 100 followers. I was like super pumped. Like, cause back in the day you could see like every single follower you'd get and I'd be on there. And for 27 months, I wasn't able to drink after my public intoxication. Cause I went into the substance of abuse program where I was getting drug tested 8 times a month for 27 months, like 216 tests I took. And I couldn't have any alcohol in my system, nothing. So I had to stop everything cold turkey. And I smoked. Now, I mean, I was a smoker and I was quite a drinker. So I had to stop everything basically. And all my friends that I hung out with, a couple of the dudes that are working with me now, like we were partiers. Like that's what we did. And we would go. And I was normally one of the drivers of the going. So whenever you have to stop that immediately and all your friends are still going out, I got a little, you know, isolated because I went out with him one time. I was like, I'll just drink water. And I was like, oh, I'm the fucking worst. I need to get out of here. I am bringing everybody down. So I just kind of invested in Twitter almost. Like I was just on Twitter. I'd answer everybody that tweeted me. I'd basically comment on everything. And then once I see like people follow me, I'm like, holy shit, be cool, be cool, be cool. And like when Aaron followed me, I was like, don't follow him back yet. Like wait, you know, like wait until like tomorrow. And like AJ followed me and like JJ Watt followed me. Like people around the NFL started following me. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. At least they're recognizing somehow. And I'll never forget, AJ invited me to be on the Hawkcast. And he was
I looked that up last night.
He was playing at the Bengals. I think he was playing at the Bengals. And he invited me. I'm like, yeah, cool, man. I'm excited. Like, I'm pumped because he went to Centerville High School, which is where my holder from college went. So he's from Ohio. We all know what a white Ohio guy is like.
Yeah, Vrabel.
Yeah, exactly.
Vrabel.
We all know. They're all the same.
Yes.
Every Ohio person is the exact same. So I knew we'd probably get along or whatever. And we had set up for me to do a show, and he got cut. He got cut either the day we were supposed to do it or whatever. So we just didn't talk to each other. Like I was like, well, the guy got cut. Like probably not the right day to do the interview or whatever. We didn't know each other at the time.
Yeah.
And we didn't reconnect until like 2 years later. And it was the Barstool tailgate show at Ohio State. And it was our first show. We were staying at some frat and AJ was supposed to come on. He was the local guest for the Barstool tailgate show. And we hit it off pretty quickly. I mean, we had quite a day. And then we got a chance to do the Laces Out podcast with Jerry Thornton. And ever since, every time we get on a microphone, it's pretty good because he's Ohio. He's completely Ohio. He's a smart ass. He's a toxic.
He's hilarious, bro.
Super toxic. So like I met him on Twitter. The boys came through an internship announcement whenever I retired for Barstool. Everybody basically, other than Nick.
So what started was you and AJ? Or you had something kind of going on?
No, I was doing shit by myself. And then like when I retired, I was going to build my own app. So
I came across that.
So I was going to build my own app and I was just going to charge like $1 a month. And I was just going to put out podcasts and shit. I'm like, this is cool. And then I'll go on tour because I'd already done 2 tours. I think I already had like 13 shows under my belt in theaters where I would rent the theaters and sell the tickets myself. So like I already knew the business side of it pretty good. And I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to go do that or whatever. And all my friends were like super pumped for me. Like a lot of people are questioning, like, you're going to leave the NFL to go do this? I'm like, yeah, I think so. And they're like, well, if it doesn't work, you just kick, I guess. I'm like, yeah, we'll see how it goes. And that's when Dave and Erica found out about it through Big Cat. They said, hey, why don't you join us? And I was very lucky to learn. And I think I told you that before you were getting into the thing, like learning from the Barstool brand about like what works, what doesn't work, the amount of time you got to put in, like how you should treat your partners and advertisers, and like how you should, CPAs and CPMs and all this shit. Like I learned all that from the bar. So like I got
You
really
referred to him as a business university.
Yeah,
When
bingo.
you were talking.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
Pat was mentoring me when we were going through all that stuff with Barstool and everything else, and you referred to him.
Yeah.
You said a lot of good stuff. I was, surprised given that you guys had broke up, but I didn't know much about it.
Yeah, it was just like business stuff, like it was like, I think personally, I don't know. No, I just, cause we're in Indiana. So like, I didn't want to move to New York. So
okay.
we were in Indiana. And we would go, we didn't really know everybody. We didn't really know everybody. Like we'd go over, we'd chat with a couple people. Like that's why I fucking love Caleb. Like I think Caleb is one of the smartest, most brilliant, hilarious individuals of all time. And every time we went to New York, he was like super dope and super cool to us.
Yeah.
Like Roan as well, because he was normally with him over there. And it's like, and Buddha Ben, who's no longer, like the people we go over there and chat with, like were super cool with us. But not everybody was like, because at that time, it was the old office. I think everybody was trying to make it. It was a rocket ship at that time. They just got the churn-in investment, and we were very lucky to be there at that time. But shit was it was going very quick, and we're 700 miles away or whatever the fuck it is. Just, that's why I don't know, and I don't know how everybody feels over there, but like, I got nothing but respect for the people over there. It was just like some business stuff that was happening that's probably going to take place whenever you're 5 states over, just with how quick everything is.
Yeah.
And I finally got to the point where it was like, I've already run my own business before I retired. I didn't retire to like kind of guess on what's going to happen. I'd rather just kind of do it myself here and see if we can go. And it's the guys from day one are still there, basically. Those are still my guys, like basically everywhere. We've only added a couple people, a graphic designer, Dirty, who's fucking awesome. He's been added into the mix. That's about it.
So what number was everybody coming in? Like Tone, Diggs,
Tone quit his job the day I retired.
and joined you. He was with you since day one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking
Tone
awesome.
told me he was drunk whenever he did it, because that
We
was
gotta have
Super Bowl.
Tone Diggs on this motherfucker.
That was
dude. He's
Super Bowl
fan of the
week.
boys.
Tone is awesome. Tone grew up on my street. He grew up at the top of the hill. The Italians.
Ooh.
The Italians. They did.
Fucking
Yeah,
Italians.
Coach Diggs did okay up there.
Pizza pie.
Yeah, but he and I had chatted. He's always been hilarious. Like Tone has always been a very hilarious human being.
Yeah.
He's a good salesman though. So he was selling like credit cards and all this shit back in Pittsburgh, and he was doing very well or whatever. But whenever I told him like I'm thinking about retiring and doing this, whether I'm going to do it myself or at that point I hadn't figured out whether or not I was going to go with Barstool or what I was going to do. And as the whole thing goes, you tell me, dude, I'll quit. I'll come out and quit. I'll do it. I'm like, all right, Tone. All right, I bet or whatever. And then the night I retired on Comedy Central or whatever, he screenshotted the email he sent. And he said, I quit. He's like, I quit. And he came out and enjoyed it. It was like, that was awesome. And my other friend, Nick Morado, the other Paisan, I've been friends with him since high school. He didn't grow up on the same street. He grew up on the other side of town. But he, same thing. He was like, if you do it, I'll quit or whatever. And then that night they were like, all right, fuck it. We quit. Let's go ahead and do this.
The night you retired.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. And everybody else you were saying you found through like internships.
Yeah. Whenever we made the announcement for the first batch of interns, they all came through. We had a lot of people. Too many people. I'm not good at that.
At what?
Like, I'm so impressed with what Barstool has done because of how big they got, with how many fucking people they have.
Right.
And all these other companies, as soon as they get money, you see them just start like adding and adding and adding and adding and adding people. And I guess that makes you bigger, so people think you're worth more. Like, I'm not saying Barstool hasn't quadrupled. I'm talking about other companies that just add people just to add people. And then at what point I don't know, for me, I'm better with I can't do a lot of people. I need a smaller group that's like, hey,
Got you.
I don't know. I'm not great at people like if they're not all in.
Right.
Like it's naturally going to happen that there's going to be beefs and cliques whenever there's a lot of people, and it's like I don't fucking like that.
You just like stick with your squad.
Yeah, like hey, we're kind of all in here. We're like minded. So yeah, that's kind of all the same people from day one. We lost a couple of people, some very talented people. I wish I would have been able to make it work better. Like I wish I would have been better at like making them a better part of the show, like because I can control that, because it's basically me talking. So like. If Connor, who's one of the funniest fucking people I've ever encountered in my entire life, if he doesn't have a good week, it's probably my fault because I didn't give him an opportunity to do it. So like there's people that have been with us in the past who are either at Barstool now or doing their own thing where I do think about like, I think I probably could have got them in a much better position without them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
How has your relationship with Dave changed since all of that went down? Like, was it one of those relationships where it was like rocky when it all went down, and then through time, everybody's just kind of like, you know what, bygones be bygones, we're boys. I got nothing but love for him.
And I might be just oblivious to this, but I think me and Dave have always been cool. I honestly, I don't.
Even through the breakup.
I think so, yeah.
I'm making up that energy because I've just scanned some of the stuff.
No, I think he understood like what happened. There was a couple, because I was in a rev share, right? So like if a deal gets pulled out of my office for the New York office, like that's direct money pulled out of our office. And
so it wasn't like a team effort rev share. It was like if you pulled something and then they might have pulled something that was bigger, it would overshadow yours and then you would lose yours.
No, it was like whatever we generated, it was just a rev share, like classic internet, like whatever our office generates, if we get, people, sponsors that want to come on, if our podcast gets sponsors and we make money, it's a rev share where they're guaranteeing a certain amount of money. So there was some new people that were added, I think, in the business side of things that maybe didn't understand the deal or know the deal or have any clue who I am. I'm a punter in Indiana. These salespeople who are just added to the company are in New York City.
Comedian, retired, you pretty, No,
I was a fucking, it makes no sense why I'm popular. It makes no sense at all. None. And I couldn't even imagine being a salesperson that just got hired to Barstool that is thinking to themselves, okay, I'm gonna go sell. Am I gonna sell like maybe the smartest, funniest person ever exists, PFT commenter, or am I gonna go try to sell this punter in Indiana that I've never met before? So I think like stuff like that was starting to happen. And then we would have a deal and then for some reason there'd be a confusion, it would be gone all of a sudden. I'm like, whoa, like this is directly my money now, like that our company is like earning or whatever. So I think it was just things that were lost in translation. And whenever I explained that to Dave, I think he understood that. Then there was obviously the bubbly gang situation, which is another thing about like being 5 states over that is a little bit interesting because there was Lewis Roberts, who is one of the most interesting people of all time. And he was the first salesman, I think, I don't know. This is the story I've heard, so I think it's true. One of the first salesmen for Barstool Sports ever, like from Philadelphia, went up there to sell for Dave. And after our first week at Barstool, we did our podcast. It did well. And then the next week we had no ads. And I'd known the business and we're in a rev share. So I'm like, Dave, how do we have no ads for this thing? Like, I thought that's what this whole thing was.
Yeah.
So he assigned, and Dave was like, you're right. And by the way, Dave made a deal like within 2 minutes or whatever. That's what Dave is unbelievable at. And I think that's why the sphere of the Barstool University is a real thing. He assigned Lewis to us, though, to be our sales guy. He's like, this is my sales guy. Like, you can tell him to go fuck himself, too, if you want to. Like, if something comes through or they want you to say something or whatever, he's a good guy. So Lewis became one of the only people we talked to at the office, like literally one of the only humans we talked to on a day-to-day basis. So Lewis, he started a rosé company. And he asked me if I wanted to invest in it. And I was like, cool, I'll invest in it. Who's all investing in it? And he told me, I have, and he said Barstool was investing in it. Dave was investing in it. Some other people are investing in it. Do you want to be a part of it? I'm like, yeah, this is why I retired. Like, yeah, I would like to get into companies. I'd like to do this. Like, yeah, this is fucking awesome. Here we go. And then when we launched it, Dave was not invested in it, I guess. And Barstool was not invested in it at all. And I'm like, holy shit. And Dave was like, I have to fire you. And I'm like, you're firing? What do you have to fire me for? He was like, well, you're directly trying to undercut me or something. I'm like, Dave, I had no fucking idea. I literally asked if you were involved in this like 2-3 times. And he was, he and I have always been able to, I think we've been able to chat. Like we've always been able to talk. I think I have the utmost respect for the business he's been able to build and the way he's gone about doing it. And his work ethic is fucking stupid too. So I think we've always had respect for each other. I think. I'm not 100% sure. You would have to ask him. But I think
he said on one of his shows that you guys were in talks for a second, potentially with the sports book before you went. Obviously, your huge deal. Did you guys ever talk about the Barstool Sportsbook and getting you back in some capacity? Not back, but you guys partnering up. Oh yeah,
capacity? There was a show too. Like towards the end there, I thought me and Dave, if we had a show together, would do well. Like I thought it would be pretty big. And at that point, Sirius too was trying to figure out what they were trying to do. And there was a Barstool radio deal. And Sirius only had one person they were paying, and Howard.
Right.
And it was like, how long is Howard going to work? So like from a business side, it's like, if me and Dave were to do a show, I think we could potentially, I think it would do well. And then one thing, I don't know, it didn't end up working, right? We're supposed to do business together. And then we do that Barstool tailgate show, and we had good chemistry together. Like literally, I thought it was like a good show. And I enjoyed being around him. I enjoyed him as a human.
Yeah.
He is fucking hilarious. Like what a ridiculously hilarious human.
Yeah.
We were in Iowa, and he said that the pizza at the gas station was too bacony or something like that. Okay, so Trent's dad came in the next morning and like basically asked Trent why he's working for this man who thinks that something can be too bacony in the middle of Iowa or whatever. And like Dave's reaction to all those things was cool.
Was it Casey's?
Yeah.
That's good pizza now.
Well, it's too bacony.
Come on now,
it's
it's too bacony.
A little bit
He
too
said
bacony.
gas station Iowa. I'm starting to put it together. We talking about Casey's here, boys?
Yeah, but that was like a moment where like I have a lot of respect for him. And I mean, I didn't sell my company to FanDuel. I'm very thankful for our FanDuel partnership. They let us, they let us do a lot. Like it's really cool. And we can pitch ideas and they can tell us yes or no. But ultimately they don't own us. So like we are still trying to win. And
Absolutely.
they are still trying to win.
Yeah.
So it's a cool relationship. It's been a lot of fun. But it's a 3-4 year deal. FanDuel, who knows what the future looks like for anybody in this space. I think there's going to be acquisitions.
Wild West right now in the
There's so much money. I think there's going to be acquisitions though, and let alone the platforms that are coming into play. I mean, Amazon's got the NFL rights. They have so much money. What are they going to want to do?
Right.
So who knows? Who knows what the future looks like?
Dog, I know. We had a fan question. This is appropriate from Elliot Hooper. Dave said he taught Pat everything he knows about gambling. Is this true? And Dave has been there. There's been a clip that's went around. I've seen it recently too, where he's like, I taught that man everything about gambling.
So that was that first, that Barstool tailgate show. We were traveling around and he was gambling. And I had never gambled before on games. I grew up around Italians, so I knew that it happened, but I didn't know who or why. We would pick those college games, and I would just pick the teams just because of the names or how I wanted to say the name. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, how do I want to? I knew nothing. I have no idea why any of these teams will win or how they won't. But Dave was like winning there. He was winning. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, hey, I want to bet alongside you. Like, this will be my first experience, because watching him like either sweat it or experience it, I'm like, I would like to feel that about a game that I do not care about. I'd like to, so I was like, go ahead and I'll just ride alongside you. He's like, all right, cool, you got it. So he called his bookie to say, hey, I'd like to double my max, which I am now know as a fully grown gambling adult, is a wildly aggressive move. I mean, that's not good at all to do that. And then he told me the amount of money it was. And I was like, holy shit, are you kidding me? And he was like,
How much we talking?
it was a lot. It was a
How
lot.
much we talking?
It was a lot of money. It was a good amount of money. And I was like, no way, I can't do that. He was like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'll do like, I forget. I said like a half or whatever. So then he was doing 150% then because his max now, and I was picking up either like the last 50%. So he definitely upped the amount of money he was betting because I asked him to do so. And there was no way I could have fathomed he was gambling the amount of money that, I mean, there was no way. And it was like, I can't do that. I am so sorry. I felt so bad. I still feel bad about that. I mean, now he owns a book. So, I mean, he's definitely
He talked about
okay.
losing like 500,000 on certain during a bet before.
We were watching some Who Gives a Fuck game, I remember. And we were in this, it was maybe like a frat house. No, it was just a house, I think, in Virginia Tech. And they had these TVs set up. It was hilarious. They had these wires going in from everywhere and the Wi-Fi. It was a college house. So these games were coming and going. And these were two teams that I mean, I couldn't even tell you their names right now. I don't even think I knew their names when they were playing. He had a grotesque amount of money on these things, and he was getting actually upset. And I'm like, you don't even know that kid's fucking name. Like, who knows what that kid did last night? That kid's playing at Who Gives a Fuck University. I mean, there's reasons. That kid could have been drunk for the last 72 hours. That kid could have done any of these things. And to have all that money riding on it, I was just so fascinated by it. But yeah, he is... I mean, he has to be one of the most legendary, massive gamblers in the history of gambling, and it is partially my fault. And I do feel very, very bad about that. I do. I have apologized to him numerous times about it too.
So is he the one responsible for teaching you how to gamble?
I mean, he got me into it. At this point, though, I've found my own couple grooves. You know, I've found my own things that. But yeah, I mean, he was my first real baptism.
Mentor.
He was my first baptism, I'll say,
Yeah.
into sports gambling, and mentor. Yeah, that'd be a good one too. And we won. I mean, he was winning there for a bit. But I don't know how he's putting that much money on these kids that I ain't never heard of, and we ain't never heard from them again.
Right.
We never heard from these kids again. Right now, we have no idea where those kids are. Those kids are selling something somewhere. And he had the amount of money he had.
Yeah.
On these kids, it was just mind-blowing. But yeah, it was awesome. It was cool. And, you know, now he's a book. That's insane.
I know. That really is. It's been incredible, like, being with him. What has it been now, 2 years? You need water? You want water?
Yeah.
Boys, shout out Bird Dogs. No free shout outs. We finally got our joggers delivered to us last week, right after the pod that Taylor and I were talking about how we couldn't wait to wear them. And they truly are the most comfortable joggers I've ever had. They are my favorite joggers. No one competes. What I was skeptical about was having the underwear. So they have a comfortable liner. They have like underwear liner in them. Super comfortable, stretchy. You can wear them anywhere, all over the house, to go out in, to lounge in, all of it. They're perfect. But what I was skeptical about was having that underwear lining inside the pant. Because usually, like, at first I tried on my underwear with them, and I didn't like the double layer feel. So I had to ditch the underwear. So you can go commando on these things, but usually the skepticism I have is the underwear lining inside of a pant. Usually if your pants pull down or sag or anything like that, obviously the underwear goes with it and it doesn't seem that comfortable. Like, I have thick thighs. The top of my thick thighs, so you can chafe a little bit. So it's hard for me to trust pants that claim to have these built-in underwear liners. But I am not shitting you. They're the best. Zero chafe, comfortable all day long. You don't sweat a whole lot down there in the gooch region, which I do. I don't know, for all my thick boys out there, I kind of do that every now and then. But they're the best, man. Go get your Bird Dogs at birddogs.com. Enter promo code BUSSIN, BUSSIN, and they'll throw in a free Bird Dogs beanie. Birddogs.com. That's birddogs.com. Promo code BUSSIN, and boom. A free Bird Dogs beanie with your pair of Bird Dogs. Stay warm and comfortable this winter in your Bird Dogs. Evan just being a boy.
Hey, thank you. Good
I don't know
talk.
where my water is, Foxy, but it's fine.
Oh, I'm really high. He knows that. So it's probably.
Hey, trust me. You're sitting there talking, I kind of see the red in your eye. I'm like, man, how fucking high is Pat right now?
All day, every day, man. Mostly. I mean, you have to be. You have to be. I enjoy that. I enjoy the marijuana.
You an edible guy or what?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Just whatever.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get into that business pretty good. I
Are
think
you in that business?
I'm going to try to. I enjoy doing that type of stuff. I hope so.
I know you probably already know, you probably got some boys already in business, so you're probably taken care of.
No, so that's the thing. Like, I travel for SmackDown so much. So whenever we go to a state where it's legal, I'll head directly. I mean, we are talking A to B to dispensary. And in these legal places, it is so awesome. Like this MedMen company, they fucking got it. They are like the Apple store of dispensaries. And then I've been to some other dispensaries, and it's like you're walking into a closet with a couple lights on, and it's like, you were selling illegal fucking weed like a month ago, and we haven't changed anything. Like the air conditioning's on the side. So I'm trying to get in there. I think there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it is what I'm saying. I think it's a very sophisticated business.
We went to a dispensary out when we was in Vegas, and that shit was nice, bro.
Dude, how awesome will life be when that is just
all over?
Oh, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm going to go get high as fuck right down there.
Yeah.
What is it? Oh, it's a cafe. Yeah, it's right on the street.
Yes.
And then I got these, they got these weed drinks. Oh.
I haven't dabbled in a weed drink.
Oh, so I can chug drinks again, and it's like taking me back to outer space. It's pretty, it's pretty cool, man. I really enjoy the business side of it, I think.
All right. So through transitioning with Barstool, you're essentially climbing.
Hey, this is smart.
What we got? The topics? The boys. Alex hooks it up, man.
This is real. This is a smart build, I'd say.
a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, I think it is. That's really smart. I can't do that stuff. I can't have something staring at me.
You just fucking talk the whole time, just right there, arms crossed up, moving around. You just talk the entire time.
Yeah. It's just like we have a paper, I guess, with some.
Does that not exhaust you?
Yeah,
Every
they're
fucking day, bro.
pretty long. Yeah, they're pretty long days.
At what
I
point
got a
were
pretty
you?
good motor.
Yeah, 100%.
Not as much
What
as
is the, what,
Boomer.
what are
Not as
the,
much
what
as
are the
Boomer.
vlogs called? America's Hardest Working Man? Yeah, I mean, that's no bullshit.
Not as much as Boomer Esiason.
Who's that?
Yeah, exactly. That's a great question.
You don't know who Boomer is?
Are we talking Boomer like, okay, Boomer?
Yeah. We are.
Okay.
Same thing.
No, he was former quarterback. He's on CBS. He's one of the. That's hilarious. You are hilarious, dude.
Bring it up. Bring it up. I
Well,
probably
for
know
what
you.
it's worth, I didn't know who Boomer was until we started saying Boomer is the hardest working man in
So
sports.
after the deal got announced publicly, too many people reached out to me. Like too many people reached out to me and were way too nice. Like people were so cool, and I tried to answer everybody.
That is fact too, because you ended up getting back to me probably 72 hours later, but you kind of just know the dude's probably getting bombarded.
I legitimately tried. I didn't sleep. I tried to answer everybody back, and you were very nice, by the way. I appreciate you doing that. But a lot of people said, like, wait till you hear who you hear from. You know, like, oh, the people you thought were, like, people are going to say your family now that they know how much money you have or whatever. And it's like, okay. But once these people started reaching out to me, I was, like, pumped to hear from these people. Like, I actually was, like, thankful for the people that were reaching out to me. I was like, hey, great to fucking hear from you. I hope life is good. And I tried to answer everybody. And then I started getting too high. I got to the point where I was like, well, if I answer these people, but I don't answer this person, these people are going to tell this person. So now I got to fucking answer this person.
Yeah, bro. You're up in the clouds, too.
So I didn't sleep. Like, I was in a hotel in Los Angeles because I had SmackDown in LA. So I signed the deal, announced the deal, hop on a plane, fly to Los Angeles. I'm all by myself. I do the show from a computer in a hotel room.
Yeah.
Okay, after the deal signed. Then I get all these texts and I try to answer everybody. I don't sleep the entire night through. I'm texting people. I'm excited. I'm pumped. Holy shit, life is much different now. It is crazy. But I heard and saw basically everything that everybody said. Mm-hmm. And Boomer was very happy for us.
I recognize Boomer now that he's up on the screen.
Boomer, legend. Boomer's legend. Boomer, legend.
Yeah.
Legend, Boomer. Boomer's a legend. But yeah, his take was like, you know, with how hard he works, he deserves that type of thing. It was like kind of his angle was like he works harder than like us or me. Like that's kind of how I took it. So now we just refer to work ethic as being Boomer Esiason standard.
Okay,
And then
I got
Are
you.
you
I got
working
the- I got
as
the
hard
joke
as
now.
Boomer Esiason? Because I think that's the biggest shot you can take at me. Like honestly, it's the only thing I think I'm really good at,
Is what?
working.
Oh,
Like I'm just gonna go.
you'll talk about
I'm an
your
idiot.
your appreciation videos, like, you know, you'll see all the appreciation, the gratitude, but you also see behind it. You remember everything. I feel like you remember everything that anybody has said.
You have to.
That's kind of tried holding you back, but you just behind that little smile, you're kind of speaking to them too.
Huh?
The smile is, you know what I'm saying? The smile is kind of for them. Like, here I am now.
I think about a lot of people, when they lay their head down at night in their pillow talking with themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. Those are cool moments too. Those people
Real
are cool.
estate, yeah.
Yeah, because
I'm
they're
so
forced to.
appreciative. Yeah. You're thanking everybody, but you're thinking, hey, all you motherfuckers that was saying some shit too.
Now, there was a lot of people in my life that weren't mentioned in that video, and they saw the video.
Yeah.
I think they
Yeah.
saw, they know him. But I genuinely believe, like, and I used to be a lot more of like one of those like, oh, is that right type person. And then, like, I'm just going to avoid said person, but I am going to make sure that person has to have a conversation with himself at some point. Like, oh, I was wrong there. Like,
Right.
Like I used to be a lot more like now, literally as I'm getting older, I'm starting to become like, I don't want to say more forgiving of people, but I think more forgiving of people and just being like, oh, they're just idiots. Like
Right.
there are so many idiots. And I think I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I am an
so
idiot.
many idiots.
You know this though. You're in
Yeah.
the NFL. Like the fucking highest level. There's some shit that happens where you go like, how is this the NFL? Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of that stuff. And then once you start peeking your nose and like seeing every place, you're like, how is this? Like you start like actually asking that question. It's like inspiring almost though,
Right.
Whenever you're like, oh, this person has the chance to do all of this. well, I have to fucking be able to at least do something like that, you know? So it's like, I think as I've gotten older, I've realized that like everybody is just kind of their own, smart and mostly dumb in a lot of other things. And you
Just figuring it all out along the way.
Yeah. And if
Some
they're
people pick it
wrong,
up quicker.
yeah. And if they're wrong, like it's cool. Like if they thought I was going to be an idiot, which I am, like they were probably right at the time, you know? So I'm starting to get a little bit more mature.
Mature.
You hear that?
Okay, yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, I think so.
When you're going into all these different industries, because bro, you do, in the beginning, were you just doing a couple podcasts a week?
Yeah.
What was the show like in the beginning? Were you daily from day one or no, obviously not day one,
How
but
many times? 3 times a week. I think we were on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I think.
you're 3 times a week. Then you obviously dabble in college football, America's hardest working man stuff, Fox Sports, ESPN, WWE, you're wrestling, you're commentating, you're doing all of these different things, bro. And you're like a Swiss Army knife at the highest level in all of these avenues.
No.
Hang on. I know.
No,
You're very humble. You're very humble.
A lot of these
Everyone watching that understands your story, which is a lot of fucking people, understand the humility that you bring with yourself. I know you're humble. But me talking, my interview, I'm asking the questions.
Oh, this guy stinks.
All of these different.
appreciate that.
Do you feel like you've got to sort of reinvent some things about yourself when you're leaning into all these different industries? Because you got a personality of wrestling. Because the first time you're coming out and doing all the wrestling stuff on Twitter, it was even weird for me. I'm like, I mean, obviously this Adam Cole thing's fake, right?
Whoa.
Hey, hang on, no, this is fake.
I hate that guy.
That's what I'm saying. The
Adam
fucking,
Cole is a scumbag. dude.
the push in the studio when it was kind of happening, and it wasn't known that you were gonna wrestle, but it's like they're setting this up for fucking.
Whoa, Ty has what does he have? Colitis, dude. Still from that day.
Is
You
it
see the chair he has to sit on?
is it tough, like knowing, okay, I'm gonna have to kind of invent myself this way for this moment of time?
No, I just went in Rome, dude. I literally, that's literally how I think. Like,
I love that.
yeah.
I feel like that's more of a question that I'm asking to you, but it's a question I'm asking with myself too.
Hey, look at that little introspective.
Yeah.
Look at you, dude. We're having a moment right now.
We are.
I'm the high one.
Yeah, I know. Once you said
You're asking
no.
questions for yourself.
I know. Once you said,
That's awesome.
nah, dude. I'm like, this is great.
No,
That's
but
what I needed to hear.
It's real though. Like, I don't know. I do stuff like just because I think it's like cool. Like I want to do it. I want to try it. I think I'm okay. Like if it comes to brain and speaking, I think I can get to it. I think at some point I can give it a go. I'm not going to be at an elite level. Yeah, there's Adam Cole, that scumbag, dude. I mean, what? That should have been a lawsuit.
Whoa.
How about social distancing too? This is in the middle of a fucking pandemic. This guy's pushing people. That's unbelievable. Bad guy. You okay? Obviously, I'm worried.
What is wrong with that guy?
What a moment, dude. 2.475 million.
Speaking of,
Holy shit. I hadn't seen that video in a long time. Hey, good for that video.
you're all over on YouTube.
No, that's
bro.
wrestling. Wrestling's big on there. It's also nice. So when I do wrestling, I feel like I'm dabbling into a different group, right? And when you do College Game Day, I think you're doing a different group there. When you do Get Up, I think you're doing a different group there of people. And you also can do different things. Like when I do Get Up, it's awesome. It's just like, all right, I can just turn this up to 4,000.
Right.
Because that is what they're trying to do. And it's in the morning show. It's like, I have a take and I am righter than everybody else, and that is what it is. So it's a fun, like, I don't want to say like, it's like a fun thing to do. Like I enjoy doing it. Like Game Day, whatever they had me just basically like, just bring energy, whatever you do. Like, okay, like I can figure out a way to do that. And it's just, wrestling is just, okay, just talk about what is happening in front of you. But it is the most ridiculous shit of all time is happening. So like the natural things that are going to probably come are going to be pretty good. So it's like everything I just try to just enjoy and just like kind of just do what, you're supposed to do. It feels like. And when I did comedy that one time, like I think like I won't do that until I'm only a comedian, because I watched like Chappelle and Burr. And I'm like, all right, I should never get on a stage again. Okay. From the way that they piece it together, the delivery, the story, the courage, the mission, everything they do is just so good. I'm like, I should never do that again. That happens with some of the other stuff I do, and you'll see me not like kind of drift away from it. It's like, I should stop disrespecting this thing.
Yeah.
You know, like commentating for WWE is probably not going to be forever, because although I feel like I'm doing good, like my way is not a way that is sustainable in that particular avenue, because just how much over the top I am. So once I feel like my welcome has worn out, that's normally when I disappear.
Drift off.
Yeah, but I have a pretty good run. And there's some things I stink at, though, that like I'm like, I don't fully understand why people are okay with me
Like what?
doing this. Like the wrestling commentating there for me, I was terrible. I mean, I was real bad. As a fan of the product I watched for like my entire life, I was not good. I wasn't doing like what you were supposed to do, but people liked it because it was different, you know? But then as the people get past the, oh, it's good because it's different fact, they're going to start like actually judging me. Like if like, so I had to like get kind of good, and I'm not.
To prepare.
Yeah, exactly. Nah.
It seemed like you prepared a little bit.
Well, that's interesting. How do you prepare, you know? Because you prepare all day, every day, right? I mean, you have to prepare all day, every day.
Right.
I'll read something, I'm like, oh, that'll be great for SmackDown. And then, or I'll read something on Twitter, I'm like, oh, that'll be dope for like a vlog, or that'll be sweet for something in the office. You know, it's just like all day. I think that's the internet. You just kind of prepare all day. But yeah.
Well, you're like making it.
I stink at a lot of things, though, but I get a good welcome buzz because I'm much different than whatever the fuck was before.
Right. What have you enjoyed out of all the different things you've dabbled in?
Everything.
But what have you, like, what, if you could pick a couple, what would you lean into if you could?
I love my Daily Show.
Well, you do the Daily Show is yours. I'm talking like the Get Up, the color commentary on like commentating for a football game.
Oh, okay.
Like stuff like that, College Game Day on Saturdays, like stuff that you're not, you kind of just dabble in, like you said, drift away. What are a couple things that you would like to go lean back in if the opportunity presented itself?
So like, I don't know if the opportunity will ever present itself with anything either, you know? Like that is something that's interesting, because the people that are running a lot of these things don't necessarily like get me, but they know that people do. So that's an interesting thing too. Like, I don't know why people like you, but we know that people like you. And I'm like, me neither, you know, like I don't really understand it either. So that's an interesting thing. But like Game Day was that's wrestling and football.
Right.
You know, so that was like crowd, got a chance to talk to the crowd, got a chance to play with the crowd.
Jump in the fucking water.
Hey, what if there was a log? Have we thought about that? I did not even, because they told me late that it was not deep enough. But by that point, I'm going. Yeah. And not a lot of people knew. I don't think a lot of people knew that I was going to do that. I'm not sure the audio people knew because I had a full pack on. I don't think the camera people knew. There might have been like one production assistant who might have like overheard a conversation of like, when they were, will you do something on the pontoon with Dave? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. Where's the pontoon going to be? They're like right over there. I'm like, I'd called a game at Baylor before, and we did a shot on the pontoon. And I was like, at the game, I was thinking, oh, I should go off the roof of this thing for sure. Like, how many times do you get to do that? Like, that would be dope. And then when game day happened, I think Foxy was with me, and maybe Zito was with me. And we were sitting there. I'm like, I'm going off of that fucking pontoon for sure. And I think Zito was like, oh, like, oh, you know, like caused a little bit of thing. So I think somebody had heard, you know, and that person was really cool. I forget her name. She was just there for a couple weeks, but she was like, do you want me to go ask if it's deep enough? And we're like, yes, that's something I would have never thought of. I would have just assumed if the boat's in there,
right,
it's got to be deep enough. But she was like, I'll go ask. So she goes and asks. And while I'm walking to the boat, she's like asking the person as I'm getting close. And then he says, no, it's not deep enough. And then she says, no, it's not deep enough, like to me as I'm getting on the boat. And it was like, I think I got to go.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the chance.
I think I still got to go, yeah. But the water was not see-through. It was a river. I could have died. I could have impaled myself, but that would have been fucking, like you going out on a football field. Could you imagine if I would have
went out?
If I went out doing a belly flop into the Brazos on college fucking game day? That would get pretty good views. That'd get more than Adam Cole.
Yeah, that would get some fucking views. But you die young, you die a hero, bro.
I didn't think I was going to live long anyways, but that would have been a wild way. I didn't even think of that happening, by the way. My wife was the one that told me afterwards. She was like, there could have been a fucking log that just impaled you there. I'm like, there could have been, huh?
Yeah.
There absolutely could have been.
Dude, talk about your wife for a minute. Because obviously we talk about all this shit you do. And I know, you know, God bless my wife too. Like she puts up with me just being on the phone or not being present at times and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like all the shit that you do, how badass does your wife have to be in this whole entire situation?
Yeah, she holds it down, man. She is awesome. She is really like, because I get sick of me a lot. Like I get sick of me. Like I don't know how anybody does. Like I can't listen to our shit much. I can't do it. So like being around me has to be a lot because I'm normally like this pretty much all the time, like just how you doing, keep it moving. Like let's like really, what are we even worried about anything for? Like let's just keep it going, like this whole thing. So I can be a lot, I think, to a lot of people. I'm not easy to be around, I don't think, like on a regular basis. So she is like one of the first people in my entire life that is like just like cool with me. Like she's just like understands me. We smoke together a lot. She holds it down. There's moments where she hates me like for what I do and like she doesn't love that I'm on the road every Friday, especially after having a show for like all day, every day.
Yes.
And then the weekends are obviously designated just trying to watch every single game so you can know what the fuck you're talking about. So like she has to be fully committed as well. And she's the fucking best, man. I'm very, very, very lucky. And she has the foundation she runs and she's kicking ass with that. So like,
What's that foundation called?
For the Brand, FUR, the brand. Play off of For the Brand. You see, play off of For the Brand.
Very smart.
It's very simple, which quite a simpleton. And she is basically it's a foundation to help pay, for canine cancer treatments for families. So that's my dog Val right there. She was Sam's dog. She was found in a kennel, half pit bull, half Shar-Pei. She was a street dog before she was in a kennel. And Sam brought her into my life whenever we started dating. And that's the first dog that we've had like a, you know what I mean?
Moments connected. Like that's
first dog in my life.
That's your goodest girl.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
So she got cancer. She got diagnosed with cancer, and we took her to a doctor or whatever, a vet, and the price to get the treatment was like $6,000 or something like that, and they don't have insurance for that. And I was like, holy fuck! Like, obviously, we were going to pay for that. We were going to do that because I love this dog.
Right.
But if this was me growing up or my wife growing up, like there is no chance that dog is happening. So she put together an entire foundation with a couple of her girls to raise money to help people pay for those treatments, basically. So it's like, it's a pretty cool thing. And it's all because of Val. And yeah, Val's had 3 surgeries now. She's the best, dude.
How old is she? Tough. Was that a tough question?
10, 9, 10.
Okay, she's getting up there.
She's living forever. That dog is going to live forever. But yeah, that is,
She's like a good girl, dude.
I've had a couple moments where I thought she was gone, though. Because she was going in for the cancer surgery or whatever, and it's like, I was very worried about her. But yeah, that's what my wife's the best. I'm happy you brought her up because she's also funnier than me.
She's the unsung hero, bro.
Hey, she holds it down. Everything would be, my house would, an utter disaster.
Right.
I mean,
Sometimes I'll see the videos and I'll know she's recording you and stuff. I'm like, I wonder what it's like, to be her every day, just being around fucking Pat, especially when you guys are fucking on the road. Back when you were on the road, like it seemed like all the fucking time.
She traveled with us though. She travels with, she'll take some of the trips. But yeah,
and then you go on vacations and sometimes you gotta do something mid-vacation. Yeah. I just put it in my own life too with my wife and stuff. And I'm just like, oh man, that'd be hard to kind of navigate. Hey, babe, I know we're on this vacation to get away from work, but this big opportunity is happening right now.
Yeah, but like, those vacations are good forever.
Right.
Which I think like she is cool with too,
Yeah.
Like we all understand like there's an opportunity here that not a lot of people have.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it's happening. I don't know how long it's going to happen. And future life's going to be dope, And that's kind of like the thought. And current life is cool too. Like we get a chance to do so many cool stuff. But Sam deserves, all the praise that she gets. And I am very, very thankful for her.
Hey, Sam, shout out to you.
Shout out
to you for holding it down.
Shout out to Sam. We have a lot of animals, though. I mean, she loves animals. I love animals, too. Not as much as her. She loves it.
It sounds like Taylor and Taylor's wife. They're big into the animals. They'll have, like, all different kinds of animals, too. It's like a goddamn farm out there at their house at times. And Taylor be like, oh, we got 3 more ducks, dude. Like, she saw them at Tractor Supply, and we had to get the ducks, man.
If we could get ducks, she would. I think, yeah.
They're building, like, little animal houses out there and stuff.
She was feeding the raccoon, dude. I mean, you know, like
Yeah.
she is a very cool spirit, I'll say. She's
Right.
nothing like anything I've ever met before. She's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, shout out NASCAR. No free shout outs. NASCAR season is finally here. Not only is it back, but it is at one of the most historic venues in America. NASCAR has built a track inside the LA Coliseum. NASCAR's best drivers ready to start the season in the biggest way at one of the most iconic venues in the world. They essentially transformed the inside of the LA Coliseum into a quarter-mile short track in the middle of Los Angeles. 150 laps, 23 drivers, all vying to be the first ever Clash champion in LA. New season, new venue, new car. I don't know about you boys, but I think it's pretty damn cool to witness such an iconic event out in LA for the boys of NASCAR. You have to watch this race on Sunday. The action is unpredictable. That first time edge of your seat action, you can only imagine nowhere else other than NASCAR. LA Coliseum, historic venue, all the boys racing. It's going to be awesome. The NASCAR Busch Light Clash at the LA Coliseum is Sunday, February 6th at 6 p.m. Eastern on Fox. It will be one for the history books. So what's the big vision, man? What do you see long term? It's all over. You're going with the flow. I know, this, that, and the other that you've been expressing, but what is the long-term goal? What do you see with the boys?
I don't know. I am just going with the flow, though, in that I think that's an interesting thing for people because, and I said this in the video, a lot of people like super chess players, like they're thinking their move out, close Sicilian, you know what I mean? Queen's Gambit, dude, up on the fucking ceiling. People are doing that. That's what everybody.
Zooming out.
Hey, man, this is what we got to do this. And if we do this, we do this. And I think I do, and we do that, like, hey, what's the goal? This, okay, how do we get to this, and then let's execute this. But it is mostly mission driven. Like, okay, let's get to this, let's get to this, let's get to this. Like the sportsbook thing was pretty obvious. Like that was probably going to be a good partnership to try and perform well for,
Right.
Hey, let's let FanDuel know that, and they've lost money from us a lot, but 69,000 people lost a bet last weekend because
I saw that, man. That's tough. Just taking them into the water with you and they didn't come back. Nobody came back, man.
Half a yard.
Yeah.
I was hey man, that would have been so cool. Oh my God. The celebration after that would have been insane. You couldn't have told me nothing on that next show. If 69,000 people would have hit one bet, a parlay that was plus 1,000 too. I would have been, oh my God. Anyways, we lost.
You let them down.
I did, dude. It was the ref, though, Will. It was the ref, Will.
It's always the fucking ref, too, bro.
It is. They need to get that shit fixed.
They really do.
Hey, I think players are more vocal about this because we realize, how much gets fucked by some wrong calls.
Bro,
I think
100%.
I think so. I'm very loud about it on a regular basis. These refs need to fucking tighten up. We need to figure this out. We need to allow technology to help these fucking dudes who have no idea what they're doing, obviously.
Are you allowed on your daily show to have these refs, specific refs, come on?
I would
And
love
face the music. I think that's what a lot of people want to see too. Is
little accountability.
Yeah, players got to go to press conferences right after losing, right after something emotionally driven. But these refs, they just get to skate on back.
Yeah, just walk out of here. Now, listen, we are not saying you should throw anything at these refs.
No, I'm not saying that.
You are not saying that. No, we're just saying
that.
we'd like some answers.
Yeah, we would
some
just like
civil
answers.
conversation.
And like you said, accountability, some ownership in making a fucked up call and being like, I fucked up.
Yeah. Anyways, I hope we get that fixed someday.
I do too.
But anyways, a grand vision. We're just living, man. I want to be a professional golfer someday. We'll probably get into the golf content.
Caleb, 51 strokes.
Hey, he's going to make it.
I think so too.
He's going to make it. And the foreplay guys were always super nice to us. I'm fucking very happy that show is crushing. They are such good. They were always very, very nice to us. That was very nice of them. But no, we're just doing the show, man. Just doing the show. Who knows?
If you're 34 with the most watched sports show on the internet, and it's you got to have something cooking. I know there's going to be a day where I'm up to something comes back out on the internet.
Well, and by the way, when that
bothers the fuck out of me, especially my hey, what you got cooking?
See, but when that goes up, that's literally when I find out oh, this is all right. Here's what we're doing. Because ideas will cook. There will be seeds that'll be planted. You know, where like, if we had the opportunity to do this, this would be cool. And then maybe 6 months later, maybe 8 months later, maybe a year and a half later, something happens. And it's like, boom, okay, we had that idea. Let's go ahead and do that. Now we can roll it. So then that's when the I'm up to something starts. And then it had been probably talked about before, but we just found either the time to do it or the proper home for it to live, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I want to do live shows. I want to do live shows bad.
Like go on the road,
Yeah, real bad. I would
toured around the country.
Yeah. I don't know about how often, but I want to see the people that have really,
Could be seasonal.
I think quarterly maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the right move.
I think people want to. People are always asking.
Or right now people are just doing stuff too. I'm seeing people sell out arenas, you know, like a lot of people are selling out arenas, you know, and it's
And
like,
then-
holy shit,
and
selling
the-
out arenas. Like that would be a fucking, imagine if we could give away like $10 million one night because we sold out a fucking arena. Like that'd be a crazy, like the things that could happen, I think. You know, that's what I really think about as opposed to like what the plan is. The
Right.
Daily Show will just continue, and then what comes from it will always, you know,
Yeah.
kind of figure out as we
Yeah,
go.
and the way like everything is happening with selling out these arenas, like whether it's comedians and they're putting on shows and it's an experience along with just the comedy, like
yeah.
the possibilities are kind of like,
You can make some dope shit.
Yeah.
Especially because I'm with WWE. So I'm in an arena every Friday, right? And I see like their roadies put the show together, the stage together, the lighting together. Yeah.
talking about
I mean, there's always,
playing chess.
no.
Quietly.
It's just a checkers move, right? Because you can move one.
Checkers
Yeah,
move,
it
dude.
is. It is checkers. It is checkers because I'm not thinking like 15 steps ahead, but it would like make sense if you wanted to do like live arena shows. You'd learn from a company that had been doing them for 30 straight years, like every single week.
Right.
That would probably be a smart thing. And then if you also are a fan of it, you get an opportunity to do it. It's like, okay, this makes sense to do. This
Yeah.
is like a good thing to probably get into.
Big question I have. Why haven't you been on Joe Rogan?
I don't know, man.
Why don't you think you've been on Joe Rogan?
I don't know. You fucking tell me, bro.
You trying to get on Rogan one day?
Dude.
I mean,
You're on Rogan, bro?
You're
You
in the
changed
you're in
world
you're in
on
the
Rogan.
circle of best friendships with him and the Aaron Rodgers, and you can
Dr. Joe Rogan. Actually, I do believe we coined the name.
Dr. Joe.
Rogan. No, probably a lot of, I'm not saying some other brain wouldn't have thought of that, but I do believe we were one of the first to go, oh, fucking Dr. Joe Rogan, dude.
Yeah,
Because that whole scene,
but
hey, pal, I got into the world of people hating each other. And I'm not normally in that. My internet existence, I've muted out the proper amount of people of my Twitter. I've gotten back into blocking folks.
done a
Just
great
because it
job of
feels
staying
good.
in the middle, making everybody laugh.
I know
Hey.
what everybody hates. Hey, and listen, nobody needs to be listening to me on those decisions anyway. So I'm just gonna fucking just keep my shit to myself because I don't even know if I'm right. So I don't know if I should be telling other people that whole thing. So yeah, that whole Aaron Rodgers situation was wild, I'd say. I had people from every single socioeconomic class, every single political class, letting me know that I was the worst human on earth. And it was fantastic. I mean,
Everything that's wrong with the world, man.
oh, dude, everybody. This guy's our fucking hero, right? This guy's our hero from one side. And then, oh, this motherfucker deserves to go to jail. He's killing people. I mean, you know, and then I'm in there and I'm allowing him to say this to a lot of people. So obviously
What are
I'm
you
killing
thinking when
people
he's-
too. I'm killing people.
What are you thinking when he's going off about that kind of stuff too?
So in my head, I was like, oh, this kind of sounds like Rogan. And then he said, I talked to my friend Rogan, and I was like, oh my God. Like you actually in the clip, you see me like cover my
everyone
mouth
talks
like
about
this or whatever. And it was because in my head, right before it happened, I was like, this sounds, oh, of course he's friends with Joe Rogan. Of course he is. Like that whole thing. That's kind of what it was. And I've been very, you know, and I think being in an NFL locker room or football locker room in general, more so than any other sport that I played, I might be wrong in this. Like an NFL locker room has so many different views and beliefs.
The melting pot,
And
man.
whenever you get a chance to like go home into those people's like cookouts or like go to the galas or go to whatever and you see why they believe what they believe and like why they feel the way they feel, or you hear and you listen to why people think the way they do, it's hard for me after experiencing the things I was so lucky to experience in the game of football and getting a chance to go travel to people's parties or houses or events. It's hard for me to be a person just be like, hey, you're fucking wrong. Unless we have, I don't know, 10 hours to discuss their entire life on how they got to this decision. And I don't think I'm going to be the person that's going to change them. Like, you know what? Pat Mcafee's going to be the guy that's going to get me off of this feeling that I have, that I'm willing to potentially get a fine and all this shit. Like, I find it interesting. I was getting attacked by a lot of people for not pushing back. And it's like, he said he had a 500-page report. What the fuck?
You're right.
I've never read 500 pages in my life. Like, what are we even... What are we even doing?
It's like that spotlight too of like, yeah, but you have this platform and all these people listen to you and you have this responsibility.
Yeah, but I think like a show can also just be one that displays and showcases humans as who they are. Like that's a form of entertainment as well, I think.
Right.
You know, so that's an interesting dynamic that all the big journalists came after me for. And it's like, I'm not doing your shit. Like that's your shit.
Right.
Like I'm doing my shit. You do your shit of yelling at whoever and whatever your opinion is, you do. My shit is, hey, do you want to learn about the 2-time MVP back-to-back? Like, do you want to learn about this fucking guy who is maybe the greatest of all time at the biggest sport of all time? Like, do you want to learn about why he is the way he is? Like, maybe we should just listen and like, be like, you know, that doesn't have to be necessarily how I live, but, oh, it's cool to hear why one of the greatest of all time and the biggest sport of all time is the way he is. Like, that's just, I don't know why people can't just view things that way. Like, Charles Barkley came on and actually chatted to us about Aaron's take, and he was pro-vax, and he gave his entire reason. And I was like, I actually thanked him. I'm like, thank you for saying that, by the way, because everybody just assumes that
everyone fucking hates me right now.
Everyone hates me right now, thinking like I am doing this, but I just want to hear why Charles Barkley thinks what Charles Barkley thinks. This is a fucking legend. This is an icon. Like, whenever people come on my show, like I honestly just want to hear why they are the way they are, why they think the way they think, what they think. Like, I'm genuinely curious about all that stuff. But when Ian Rappaport comes on, it's just like, hey, Ian, fucking give us some news, dude. You know?
Yeah. Help us check out, man. You do the talking.
Ian's the best. We have some regular guests, like Chuck Pagano comes on weekly. Obviously, Aaron comes on weekly. Ian, like the JB was coming on there. Coach JB was coming on for a little bit. That was awesome. We're not
He's funny, dude. He's a funny cat, man.
I fucking wish, like, there's another guy, like, I don't know how, because I don't talk college ball. Like, I'm not a big college ball guy.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of JUCO stuff. He knows NFL stuff, but like, I don't know. It's just like the fit wasn't great, but we were so incredibly lucky. It was great. The fit was great for what it was. And we'll probably hopefully have him back for next college football season. But there's a guy like I hope I see like super succeed. Like, cause he's one of one.
Right. You got to appreciate the guys who just don't like those give a fuck meters are just non-existent. They just say what they say and
the only white dude in Compton in his neighborhood. Like, think about that guy. Like, we should hear that guy.
Right,
like, I would like to hear.
He needs to be a vessel, a bridge.
I would like to hear that guy. And when he comes on, he says something that we don't agree with, or a lot of people don't agree with. Like, people tend to just attack me for it. And it's like, listen, man, I'm okay with people saying how they feel. Like, if that's how they want to do, and if I make them feel comfortable enough to be themselves, you can judge them however you want, but you got to know that there's a reason why they feel the way they feel, though, too. Like, these people aren't just saying shit just to say shit. Like, they have their beliefs as well. Those exist. Even though you think they're stupid, like, I don't know if everything has to be a complete fight on why you don't agree with somebody.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think that has to be a thing.
Yeah, especially, I just think about Aaron, man. But, dude, my man's got some nuts on him to be able to come on just every Tuesday and just talk about whatever he's feeling and talk about whatever he wants to talk about. Just because you've been in all the locker rooms, you've been in the team meetings, not necessarily the locker rooms. The locker rooms are like, you know, hey, they support what you guys, everybody supports each other with stuff that they do off the field. But you sit in the team meetings and the position meetings, offense, defense meetings and stuff, and you hear, I just know whenever an episode comes out with us, and I know I've sat in meetings where Rabel's about to talk about my social media or my asshole gets a little tight based on something that was said. And just knowing that Aaron goes out there because he kind of just can because he is the best in the world.
Yeah.
So he's just able to kind of
be who you can afford to be, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there was a couple times where, you know, I got in trouble for my Twitter account or whatever. And I was like, all right, valid.
You go in the next day.
I was like, all right, that makes sense. Like, all right, I can see why you're upset in this entire thing. I didn't mean to distract from the team, whatever. But Aaron, I think The only thing he does, and I think what we've learned about him so much is it feels like he loves his teammates.
Right.
Like it really does feel like he loves his teammates. And I don't know I didn't know him a long time ago. I have no idea. And AJ has known him a long time. You know, obviously AJ Hawk has. And their interactions are awesome. But I feel like him just opening up about who he is, there's nothing that you could potentially get mad at him about from a team perspective.
Yeah. The couple of dudes I've talked to that are on the team, they say he's a boy.
Yeah.
Which is the stamp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, he's a boy.
Yeah.
That's all you get. That's all I got to see.
Saw him at that goddamn party like Keanu Reeves, dude, with Pooh Shiesty.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron's having a good time out there. And he enjoys the scotch. And I think he's legitimately one of the smartest humans that ever exists, too. I think that is potentially a case as well.
One of the smartest humans that ever exist.
Well, like not in the, like let's not put him in the.
Talking about like introspective, self-awareness.
Like Jeopardy. Like he wants to go like against the real
trivia.
folks.
We're talking trivia and shit.
Yeah, like I think like smart, like in that fashion, not like change. I'm not going to speak for him.
Never say never,
I'm not
man.
going to speak. He had a 500-page report done on.
And he must have looked at it from the back.
I would assume he looked at it. He has
Yes.
a book club now. I assume he's looked at these
Right.
things. But yeah, he's an interesting guy. We've been very lucky to talk to him, but I've been very, very lucky to have conversations with him on a regular basis. I enjoy him. I think they're
It's
like,
awesome.
I have no idea where
he
they're going.
comes on the show.
Yeah.
Sometimes stuff will happen with the boy Taylor and be, hey, yeah, we probably shouldn't. I'll just run this thing this week. You know what I mean?
Oh, really? So Taylor doesn't get any shit?
Yeah, because it's like you know how people come after you, fans, by he's more focused on the podcast than he is playing football, and
I knew if I had a couple bad games.
right,
about all
that's
she
where it
wrote.
goes.
Yeah.
And we always relate it to a dumb example of like, well, what do you want the dude to do for a couple hours? Like guys play video games, guys do this. It's like you come on and have a conversation on a podcast, but the woke mob. I said that lightly.
Whoa. Now you're getting me back into this shit. He's getting me back into this. No. Hey, the opinions of Will do not reflect that of me. No, but yeah, it's off so fast.
You've been around the team so where you just know how that dynamic can play out. So I just think it's dope that he comes on and, is able to be who he is because he can afford to be that way.
Chuck Pagano told me like one of the first times he met me, when he became coach of the Colts, and he probably only knew me from my Twitter account, like from outside. I know this guy got arrested.
That's pretty dope though, right? Twitter account?
This guy got arrested. He has a Twitter account, and he's an okay punter at that time. I didn't really know how to punt at that point, but I was an okay punter. His first conversation with me was one like, why don't you stop tweeting, And I was like that's not how he said it, but the way, like, he was basically telling me like, how about you stop tweeting or whatever. And I was like, man, I just lay in my bed and I'm on my phone. Like, that's literally what I do. And if I say anything or do anything that hurts the team, like, I'll put it down or whatever, Like, we had to have that conversation early, but Chuck was understanding of it and like cool about it. There's a lot of football dudes that would not have been like, no, actually, you're gonna not fucking tweet. Okay, this is what you want to punt balls here. That's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're referring to. Like that. Once you get labeled a distraction,
Oh, I know.
it is over.
Because I think for me, that was if I was going to play this year, it was going to be for like a team or a staff that I kind of knew and they kind of knew what was going on. Because like Vrabel, I had that conversation with him because there's a couple times where I was on P Squad, so I was just watching the games and live tweeting and stuff like that. Say, hey, just be careful. You don't say anything that can hurt the team. And I'm like, trust me, I do not want to be on your bad side, Braves. And then Versace, when I go there, he's like, hey, what do you plan on doing, like bussing and stuff? I'm like, we got a couple of things in the library that we'll just play, but I won't, do anything that'll cause a distraction. He's like, all right, because people are aware. Coaches will come up to me
People
like, hey.
understand.
Yeah. Coaches will come up to me, but hey, man, your Twitter and your podcast, like my buddy, he's like close with Pat McAfee. I forget the coach's name. But
Burbs.
Is it Burbs?
Yeah.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Shay, shout out Burbs, man.
Yeah. I assume the Raiders. This is the Raiders organization.
Yeah, Raiders organization.
Yeah. Burbs is the guy from the Colts. Went over there a few years back, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's been one of our early fans. He was like one of our first fans. He's like a good guy. He worked in the Colts and we're like friends. He's a good guy. Good dude.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out Burbs, man.
But you're right with saying like the people like at other teams. When I retired, I could still probably kick a ball pretty good one weekend if I had to, or a couple weekends. The only people that would reach out to me in my retirement to potentially think about coming back were like people that had known me in the past. There's no new coaches.
No.
There's no new coaches.
Not at all.
Hey, you know what? I want to sign up for the fucking Pat McAfee thing. Like, there's nobody reaching out.
Yeah.
Like a team that I had zero connection with. There was nobody thinking like, yeah, we'd like to bring that guy to retirement to punt for us.
Right.
Like nobody was thinking.
You were thinking of a comeback season now.
I was going to kick
this. Was this in 2020 or 2019? Because you had sent me, you had went to a workout.
Yeah.
And you took a photo of your knee and it blew up on you after the workout. And you're like, I was up to something, but I don't think I'm up to something anymore.
Yeah.
When was that?
I don't remember. A few years back. It was after
I don't know if there's a few, bro. 2 max.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, maybe a couple. There you go. Few 3.
Yeah. Few
2.
3, couple 2.
Yeah, maybe a couple years back. I was so the guy that I was kicking, my kicking coach, basically coming out of college. And by kicking coach, I went to his camps and he was the only one that really helped me. So he was my kicking coach. It wasn't like a full-time thing though, but he was a good dude who I kept in touch. His name was Jamie Cole. He became the kicking coach for the Bears because the Bears had the Cody Parkey incident happen. Right, with the double doink.
Right.
Which was blocked. Cody Parkey got fucked in that whole thing. I mean, that ball got tipped. It didn't go in. It wouldn't have went straight in.
Yeah.
But it did get blocked allegedly, and nobody talked about it until it was already gone. Yeah. And who's old buddy from Chicago? Barstool Carl, maybe? I think it's Barstool Carl. He had one of the most epic rants.
Chicago?
How much fucking money do we have to pay you to make a fucking kick? It was one of the most epic things of all time, but they were looking for a kicker, I guess, afterwards. And Jamie Cole became like the kicking consultant there. And Chuck Pagano was the defensive coordinator there. So Chuck had seen me kick field goals in practice. Jamie Cole had seen me kick field goals for a long time. So it was like hey, do you think you would want to maybe get back and kick? Because they thought that role in Chicago after what had happened would be a tough role. You'd have to be a pretty like confident human being, they thought. Like that's what they were thinking there. And I think Chuck and Jamie both were like, hey, if we could get this dude in, we could maybe he could be a guy. But I was going to have to earn it. I was going to have to try. I was going to have to compete against people. They weren't just going to hand me the gig. I was going to have to do the whole thing. And I hadn't got a kick in the NFL, and nobody had really had success punting and kicking in the NFL, doing both. So I definitely considered it. It was one of those things where we had a very good show, very good business going, but it was nobody's ever been able to do this before. That might be a pretty dope.
Hell yeah.
Maybe I could do something. And then I went and did a full workout. And I'll tell you what, the ball was flying. It did look good, but I mean, my knee, I could barely get through the airport. I was walking. I'm like, oh, fuck, it's dead. I'm an old man. This is the way it goes. So yeah, that was kind of the universe telling me yo, just talking to microphones, dude.
Yeah, just keep where you're at, man.
Yeah.
Don't do too much.
Yes, do less, dude. That's what they were telling me.
Yeah.
Yeah, do less.
This episode is brought to you by Roman. Look, no one's perfect. The best baseball players strike out with the bases loaded. The best golfers sometimes 3-putt with the tournament on the line. I, for my life, can't find the hack to last a little bit longer in bed. I read all the articles. I do all the stuff. I do all the exercises. For the life of me, I can't figure out how to last longer in bed. But the boys at Roman have now brought us options that work 100% of the time, every time. Go to GetRoman.com/BussinBoys now. With Roman, you can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for your ED, all from the comfort and privacy of your own home. A U.S. licensed healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan available. If medication is appropriate, for some of us it is, like JP, it ships to you free with 2-day shipping. The whole process is straightforward and discreet. Getting started is simple. Go to GetRoman.com/BussinBoys and complete an online visit. Take care of your ED without leaving home. Complete an online visit today and connect with a doctor and take care of it immediately. That's GetRoman.com/BussinBoys now to get $15 off your first order of ED treatment. There's a straightforward way to take care of your ED and last a little bit longer in bed, boys. And that's GetRoman.com/BussinBoys. Get started now to save $15 on your first order of ED treatment. Did I just admit that I have ED? Kern, we got somebody From Blake C on Twitter. Ask him if he has that jersey for Kern yet that he was supposed to swap with him. You saw Kern came on the bus.
Yeah.
And we showed the photo.
Yeah.
You said, hey, I'm going to get you that jersey.
So we had a rule at Indy, probably in Tennessee as well, the fine that we would get if we were to give our game jersey or whatever afterwards. So we never did it. Like, it wasn't something that happened. I think the game has changed mightily since then, where everybody seems to be doing it there for a bit, aside from COVID. But we didn't really swap jerseys much, like ever. Like, the only people that did it, I think, were like maybe like Peyton or Andrew. Like, I think it was like only big thing. So me and Vinny never really want to do it. So we said clearly, though, I do remember clearly saying, hey, we'll sign one and send it. You know, we can't do it right now, game worn, but we'll get a jersey, official jersey from the equipment room. We'll send it this week or whatever. And we did not. I mean, that was fucked up. That was really fucked up. I have the utmost respect for Brett Kern, too. I used to watch Brett Kern's film. I'd watch Brett Kern's film.
He is a monster.
He's a robot, dude. He does this thing too where, like, when he catches the ball, it's like almost like pulling back a trigger, like sets him up perfectly every single time that I tried to steal. I tried to emulate it because he was such a robot. He is fucking so good. He is really good. He and I have always had, I think, good conversations until I just fucked him over and didn't send the...
You able to make it right?
I mean, I will. Yeah, I got to find a jersey. There's not a lot of McAfee jerseys out there.
Oh, there's got to be some. I'm sure you
I'm telling you, I don't even have any of mine.
You get up to Coles too and just get something made.
Yeah, I should.
Just a thought.
I should ask them. I should ask them. I should probably get a bunch though. Like, there's probably numerous people that I have said, hey, 100%. Sure, I'll send you one.
Yeah, so I just picked up like 15 Titans jerseys yesterday at the Titans facility.
They just gave them to you.
Yeah, that I had put in an order for, but the transaction never went through. This was from last year, but I was like, hey, can I come? Can I get those 15 jerseys? Because Andrew Hawkins.
Oh, fucking
stud. When
hey, he's got big
brain, bro.
Big brain.
And when I was talking to him, I forget what year it was. It might have been the same year that we would get connected. You got a roll?
How far are we from downtown here?
Not far.
10, 15. We're okay. We got a few more minutes.
Okay. Yeah. We'll finish up.
No. Michael Cole just texted me though and said, "Are you working today or what's going on?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Just say I'm on Bussin With The Boys, man.
Yeah, dude. We got bigger fish to fry right now. Conversation with the boy, dude.
Playoff Willie.
Hey man, we were sad you got cut.
I was sad too. I knew it was gonna happen because Bisaccia. Well, the first time I didn't know it was gonna happen. The second time when they brought me back in, when the dude had gotten COVID. He's like, I can only promise this week, and then I don't know how it'll turn out. I was like, oh, it's all good as long as we can get to the playoffs. And then we won that dramatic-ass game against the Chargers, and I wanted so badly. We were partying in the locker room, bro, dancing, having a great time. Dude, it's the best feeling in the world because that was a win-and-end game. And I was like, I'm sitting there with the boys and everything. I told Versace, I was like, man, I don't know what y'all are going to do, but I hope I get to stay for this playoff run. He's like, I'll fight for you. But, wasn't able to get that far.
Hey, but you made him,
Playoff Willie, I did my job.
Yeah, you did. You were a hired gun.
Yes.
We need to make the playoffs, boy.
Yeah. 1 tackle, 1 almost fumble recovery.
Excuse me.
What was it, 3.5 minutes of PT?
Excuse me. Let's go, dude.
The numbers speak for himself.
3 minutes is like 2 years of my career. You know what I mean? So fucking, you crushed it, dude. But back to Brett Kern, though. I got a lot of respect for Brett Kern. I love Brett Kern.
I feel like you're making up for it with this failing him on the jersey.
Well, I completely forgot about it until right now. Like, I forgot about it, obviously, immediately after the game, which is rude of me, very rude of me. Not a lot of people ask for my jerseys. So, like, especially other players. So it's not like something that I'd be used to doing. And also, I feel like a little bit of an asshole walking into the equipment room and being like, hey, by the way,
I gave my jersey away.
I need another fucking jersey.
Yeah.
You guys need to sew another one. Okay. Need you to sew another one this week. Also taking the bottom a little bit and tighten up the sleeves because I gave, I
got to get the strut going.
Yeah. So I gotta hook up Brett for sure, but I do love him.
If you do end up taking that idea of like going and getting a few McAfee jerseys made, go ahead and throw one in so we can hang up here at the spot.
Be an honor, man.
What I was going to say, because it was going to be a good thing about Andrew Hawkins, but he said every year when I got done playing with that team, I would ask for 15 to 30 jerseys because any conversation he wanted to have, whether it's building his network or business people or big minds, he's like, I always followed up the conversation with shooting them a jersey because that would be something that engraved with them and I would have in the network forever.
Genius, yeah.
Genius, bro.
That's a good business move.
But yeah.
That's good business. He's intelligent, like super duper intelligent. He has an Emmy, I think. He's gonna get a Grammy.
He's done.
He's gonna get
I
an
feel
Oscar.
like everything.
He's
Yeah,
gonna get the EGOT, I think. He's fucking incredible.
because he does stuff with LeBron. Was it the shop? Uninterrupted.
What's their company?
That's what it
Spring
is.
Hill?
Is that what it is? Spring Hill.
They're fucking crushing it too. Let's talk about money now. I mean, they are.
I feel like that's like an under the. I haven't really heard of Spring Hill. That's like a.
It's bronze. That's part of that. Yeah.
They own Uninterrupted and all that stuff.
Yeah. Hey.
That's big moves going on. That's elite moves going on.
Yeah, I'm excited to see their sportsbook deal.
When yeah, exactly.
I'm excited to see their sportsbook.
What's the? You said Spring Hill.
Yeah.
Spring Hill. If I haven't heard of Spring Hill, it's like, oh, people must be doing something right if people can't figure out what the top dog company is.
I don't know what that meant. I think you lost.
I'm saying I know of Uninterrupted and all this other stuff. It's like the
got it.
Disney, the one behind the scenes, right?
Walt. You're
The
talking
big
about
parrot.
Walt.
Yeah. That was a miss. It's all good.
No, it wasn't.
No one had a reaction. I look over at Pat and he was just wheels were turning. I didn't hear a reaction from the back. I was like, okay, I did not explain that
but
well.
I missed stuff. I missed a lot of stuff though. That could have been on me.
Yeah, I can too, bro.
Not just can. I mean, I will miss so much, and then I'm catching up later.
Comes back around and then you're like, hey.
Oh, all right. I got to reference that again to let old buddy know that I get what they just said there because I'm an idiot. Yeah, it's life, dude. It's life.
But those athlete-driven shows, what do you think happened to I Am Athlete?
That was a great transition. I don't know. I have no idea. I was so intrigued by that. I was so pumped for them too. Like I enjoyed that a lot. You know, especially because they had ownership over it. They were running it themselves. It was an independent operation. It felt like they were really growing and going. I had a lot. I loved it. I think they're still going to go, by the way. Now the pivot's happening.
Yes,
right?
bro.
The pivot's happening.
Fire Ryan Clark, shout out the boy, getting involved.
Shout out. And also Channing Crowder and Fred Taylor are hilarious human beings.
Love them, dude.
So I think whatever they do, they're going to be successful. And then Brandon Marshall has had to pivot, but I don't know. I haven't really. I guess
would love
there's
to
a
talk
lot
to
of
him.
talk. But yeah, I guess there's a lot of
Because they
shit.
came out, the pivot was the truth, and you're sitting there, you know, listening to it and everything else, and you can tell there's stuff like behind. You know, they're grown men, they're professionals, they understand business is business and stuff, but something that had to have happened.
So I couldn't watch it. You like watching that stuff?
I like watching that stuff because I like just watching what goes on, kind of moves being made, just being involved. And I like you said, Channing Crowder and Fred Taylor. Like Fred Taylor just has the vibes of that OG, the one you called Unk in the locker room.
Yes, OG for sure. Both of them. Fred came on the show, was awesome. Channing came on the show, he was awesome. Brandon Marshall came on the show, he was awesome. That whole crew is just a really talented group. And Ocho's obviously Ocho. I mean,
He's the man, bro.
the man. Yeah, I don't know, man. I have no idea what happened down there. But I don't like watching that type of stuff.
Like watching what? You don't like watching I Am Athlete?
No, I like watching I Am Athlete. I don't like watching like the drama. Like,
Of it going down?
yeah, like I don't like knowing. I don't want to. Like I'm always just like I like all of you. Like I'm like I enjoy all of it. So I don't want to hear about it. Let's get to the point where we're past it and having good times again.
And where everyone's being back to being like successful and stuff, find their stride. See, it's like
But it has
they
to
were
happen.
such a good group.
Yeah, things
They
like
all
that have to happen.
they
though, I
clicked
guess.
and everything like that, and you're just like, man, I want to know what happened to the boys, man.
It's probably some business stuff if I had to guess. I mean, you never know. And on the internet, it's such a wild, wild west right now. It's modern day gold rush. The internet right now.
Yeah.
And who knows? I hope they, you know what? I hope they get back together though.
Yeah, I fucking love having you on right now, bro.
Could you imagine if they
especially being high?
But you wouldn't have had me on not high.
He's like, yeah, I mean, who knows?
I honestly do. Because I started diving into it a little bit. And then I was like, I don't know. And it'll probably all come out, right? We assume everything will come out, but hopefully.
I think so.
But there's so many platforms. There's so many eyes. There's like some people have this thing where, well, we have to hate this person because they're in our same area or whatever. But like now there's so much content consumed by so many people. Like I want to
Everywhere, bro.
I want to see everybody crush. That's
Right.
That's all I ever like. I hope you crush. I have no idea why some of our shit goes. So I'm not the person that should be telling you what to do at all. Like, but I hope.
Come on now. I
hope you
know
do
you're a
great.
humble fucking individual, but I mean,
What works for me, I don't know if it would work for anybody else. I honestly don't. And I only know my game. I don't know anything else. But what I'm saying is I hope everybody crushes. I hope everybody makes $1 billion fucking dollars.
Yeah.
That's really all.
there's enough eyes, man. There's enough eyes. There's enough money for this
For
stuff
everybody to
continue to
eat.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
for everybody to eat on the internet. Legit. There is. Now, granted, I just got a massive pizza,
Yeah.
Like
Massive pizza.
that's a big one. Too much.
Did you negotiate that deal?
Yeah.
Because you used to be with CAA, right?
Yeah, I did some business with CAA, and it's hard to sell a punter in Indianapolis, man. I think that's a difficult. He's on the internet. He's popular. He swears. He's a punter. He's in Indianapolis. Like, I think it was a hard sell. I think it was a hard sell.
I think it's a hard sell.
I think it was a hard sell for some people, especially if they weren't around me on like a daily basis. So I think it was a hard sell. So like, I have no beef with anybody. It's like I'm just going to start speaking for myself though. Like, I'm going to start speaking for myself for these people. So they know at least, I would like to hear why some things are happening or decisions are being made. I'd like them to actually chat with me as opposed to a potential version of me
Right.
that they're hearing about. So, I mean, it's going to be a detriment to our business for sure. It's going to be a detriment to our business for sure.
No.
But it is like, it's pretty cool to be in those meetings, you know? It's pretty cool to like have a voice in there. And
That's awesome, man.
you learn, like watching Shark Tank, you're trying to learn, you know? I'm like,
You want to be on Shark Tank one day?
yeah, probably, yeah. That's a goal, yeah. For sure. Hey, that'd be dope when somebody walks in with $1 billion idea. Hey, you have $100,000? Yeah, here you go, man. You did all the work.
And you start spitting game at them, and Cubans, like, you just kind of get the respect of your peers sitting up there, like, well, Pat kind of knows what he's talking about.
No, I would embarrass myself when it came to that shit. But like, I mean, that is the greatest concept of all time.
Yeah.
Okay, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to have people that have worked their dicks off to build companies. Okay, they're going to walk right in here and they're going to say, hey,
Scared shitless.
please, God,
Yeah.
come help us. For whatever reason, we're not doing it. And all you have to do is write a check and then just ride the wave of
And ask for more.
an incredible
I'll do it for
concept.
30%.
I'm like, that's how these billionaires are all fucking billionaires. They're creating shows that they're getting paid for. And then they're getting people to come pitch ideas. It's just, it was that show. That show is an awesome concept, idea, execution, everything. It is a glorious show.
You got to get on it. We got to get you on it. This is the
Next
pitch
deal,
right
man,
here.
next deal. All right, I got to bounce.
Dude, I appreciate you coming on, man. I'm so fucking grateful that the boy came on here. Foxy, you too. All the boys out in India.
Hey.
You guys should all come one day, especially when we get Taylor back in the off season.
Yeah, we should do something though.
We should.
What do you guys do down here? You just a lot of music down here.
Oh, we can find stuff to do, man.
Yeah, we should do that. AJ should come too.
100%.
Not that I control
Eggs.
AJ's schedule. I tell AJ, dude, that doesn't mean that's going to happen. But I'm just
Right.
saying it would be cool if AJ was to be a part.
Yeah, I would love all the boys to come down.
Yeah, bring the whole squad.
I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, man. This is really cool. Thank you for having me. This is awesome. I mean, I'm going to be late, I think.
Do your SmackDown, bro. He's got SmackDown to do now. This will be on the hardest working man vlog or something, bro.
No. Yeah? No. New
Be
series.
something.
New series called We Don't Do Enough Blogs.
Vlogs.
Vlog. There you go. Yeah. You see that? It was coming there at the end. All right.